early in the NFC Central Division. While Chicago's slim playoff hopes vanished last Sunday in Green Bay, Detroit dramatically moved right into the thick of the postseason derby. For a while, it didn't look like it would happen for the Lions. 4 losses in the last minute. The most recent, this heartbreaking defeat against the Redskins on Mark Mosley's 44-yard field goal with 43 seconds to play. But last Sunday, things finally turned around for Detroit in the game against Dallas that everyone's still talking about. 12 men on the field. Mass confusion. Eddie Murray tries to win it.
It's good. It's good. No time left. No flag. It's good.
A change in last-minute fortunes for the Lions, who had pulled off a stunning late triumph. And maybe there is no place like home for the Lions, who are unbeaten at home, but they must win their first game on the road today to keep it going.
CBS Sports presents the National Football League. Today, the Detroit Lions versus the Chicago Bears.
Sub-freezing temperatures in Chicago and another sellout at Soldier Field as these old rivals battle again, the Lions and Bears. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton along with Johnny Morris. And what a great win last week. Monty Clark, we'll take him any way he can get him, John.
Well, Monty says he's a super guy, a good guy, but he's not going to give that game back.
All right, the Lions are going to have to start winning on the road if they have a shot.
That's right. They're 0-6, and here in Chicago, they have only won 1 game in the last 7, Dick.
What about the payback time? Did the Bears really think about a few weeks ago when the Lions crushed them?
I think so. When you're beaten 48-17 on national television, the Lions gained over 500 yards. That means the Bears feel that they have something to give back to the Detroit Lions. That should make this game very interesting. And as you'll recall, Billy Sims didn't even play in that football game, but he's playing now. He's gained over 1,000 yards this year and has missed 2 games. So if the Bears stop Billy Sims, they may have a chance to win, but that's not an easy job.
All right, it'll be a while before Billy Sims gets a chance because the Bears have won the toss and they've elected to receive. And there you're looking at last week's hero, Ed Murray, and how cool he had to be to concentrate on kicking that 47-yarder. And there you're looking at Emery Moorhead, number 43, who's standing at the goal line for the Bears. And you can see how cold it is. Winter has come to the Midwest. And the Lions are in white in their Honolulu blue and silver, and the Bears in dark blue. And we're underway in Chicago. It's a short kick. Will bound at the 20, picked up by Marcus Anderson. Marcus Anderson. Fumble. Penalty marker is down. And all sorts of wild confusion off the top. A penalty marker was dropped at the 25. And the Bears apparently recovered their fumble finally. It was Todd Bell.
It looks like we're in for an exciting football game. The first play, it was a short kick. Marcus Anderson almost got to the outside.
In place of the beanbag.
I think he said he threw the flag in place of the beanbag trying to mark the ball, so there was no penalty on the play. The Bears got it back, first down.
All right, and they're back in their own territory. 1st and 10 for Chicago. The offensive team, led by Vince Evans, the quarterback, and after this play, we'll show you who are the main operatives for the Bears. 1st and 10, the ball at the 15-yard line. And in motion goes Walter Payton, and Matt Suhey carries and gets just about to the line of scrimmage. So the offense for the Chicago Bears is struggling. Vince Evans is the quarterback. Walter Payton, who gained over 100 yards for the 2nd time this season last week. Suhey, the fullback. Bashnagel starting with Ricky Watts, number 80. The offensive line for the Chicago Bears, and they say that Noah Jackson becoming more and more a leader there. Keith Van Horn, the rookie. Robin Earl, number 81, the tight end. Gain of 1, it'll be 2nd and 9 at the 16.
And this is really the first game this year that these teams have played in very, very cold weather, 25 degrees.
Evans having his problems. 3 interceptions last week, giving him 13 on the year. And they'll go to the air at 2nd and 9. And his pass bounces in front of Walter Payton, incomplete. And so we may be seeing an indication of things to come with Payton as a pass receiver. The Detroit Lions defense, and it's been outstanding. Number 1 against the rush. Purifoy and Baker, the ends. Gay and English, the tackles. Cobb, who had a fine game against Dallas with Fantetti and Stan White, the veteran, a right linebacker. And the secondary, and they have been picked on this year. James Hunter back in action at right cornerback after missing 5 games. Bashnagel's in motion at 3rd and 9 at the 16, and pressure on Payton, and this time Payton has it, and Waller slips. Jim Allen pushed him out of bounds to safety. As we look at Vince Evans, who the Bears say will have to get a little better protection and, of course, a little more consistent performance. But Payton is short of a first down. At 4th and 3rd, 4th and 3, Bob Parsons will come in and kick for the Chicago Bears. He had a good game last week. Parsons the best in the NFC in getting kicks inside the 20-yard line. And Robbie Martin, number 83, the leading punt returner for the Lions, who's standing at his 35. Good high spiral by Parsons, and Martin calls for a fair catch at the 36-yard line. So the Lions will take over 1st and 10. We had a fumble on the opening kickoff. Bears recovered and couldn't get a first down. So the offense for Detroit. Eric Hipple will be the quarterback, and we want to remind you that on Thanksgiving Day, these Bears will be in action against the Dallas Cowboys. 3:30 Eastern and 2:30 Central. And Charlie Waters, a profile on one of the Cowboys stars on the NFL Today, and that's where it'll all start. 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. We'll give you the Lions offense after this play. Billy Sims, of course, is in the backfield with Dexter Bussey. In motion is Fred Scott, and the pitch goes to Sims. He gets a couple, maybe a yard, that's all, and the tackle is made by the inside linemen Jim Osborne and Alan Page. So the offense for the Detroit Lions, Eric Hipple doing marvelous things since making his debut against these Bears on October 19th. This is his 5th start. Sims and Bussey, and Leonard Thompson and Freddie Scott at wide receiver. A change at tight end. Ulysses Norris is in for the injured David Hill, who has a knee injury. Keith Dorney has been superb at right tackle, number 70. It'll be 2nd and 9 for the Bears on their 38-yard line, and that's what Hipple has done. Brought the Lions back to the victory last Sunday. And too much time. The 30-second clock runs down, and so mark off 5 against the Lions.
Both of these teams have had a lot of penalties this year, and it's hurt their cause. And it's going to be interesting. If you look back at the Lions-Bear game earlier this year, there was 1,000 yards of offense. 1,000 yards of offense. We'll see if that holds true today as Eric Hipple got his start.
Monty Clark. We're going to talk about some of his offensive techniques he talked about with us yesterday, and Neil Armstrong, who still is fighting for his job with the Bears. It'll be 2nd and 14 at the 33 as both Thompson and Scott are wide right. And on a draw play, Dexter Bussey is short of a first down by about 3 yards. A fine play. Gary Fensick coming in from strong safety. So Dexter Bussey, who broke Altie Taylor's all-time Lion mark, and that'll be broken by Sims before long. Bears defense, and they have been coming on. Al Harris,
Jim Osborne and Alan Page. Look at the linebackers, Wilson, Singletary, and Campbell. And Terry Schmidt and Henderson still on the corners with Fensick and Plank, the 2 hard hitters in the defensive backfield.
Mark Nichols, number 86, the rookie, who has been slow to develop with Fred Scott at wide receiver. And Sims, with a good block, has a first down. And Homer Elias, number 61, the left guard, set the key block for Sims, and Todd Bell makes the stop. And Billy Sims, who is, Johnny pointed out, didn't play in the first game. Bell coming off the field, and the Bears liking to go to that 5-1-5 defensive alignment.
The Lions are the #1 rushing team in the NFC, and of course the Bears have not been that strong against rushing. They're 13th in the NFC, so you'd think that the Lions are going to try and run the ball on them.
Sims 3rd in the NFC in rushing, over 1,000 yards. 1st and 10 for the Lions on their own 47-yard line. Ulysses Norris, the tight end, in motion, and Hipple is going for Norris, and it's tipped up in the air, and Norris can't make the play. Ulysses Norris was the receiver. Doug Plank broke it up, and Norris thought he had a second chance as Hipple goes up top.
Interesting play because Gary Fensick blitzed for the Bears. He came from the weak side, almost got to Hipple before he threw the ball, and then you saw what happened downfield. Almost a touchdown. The ball was deflected up in the air, and Norris, playing for as you know, David Hill almost had himself a long reception.
One thing about the Bears, despite the fact they're struggling at 3-8, they have shown a far more aggressive defense the last couple of weeks.
Yes, they have improved, and they also have a very good percentage against the pass. Only 44% of passes have been completed against the Bears. That's the best part of their defense. 2nd and 10
at the 48. First quarter, no score. And Billy Sims goes outside. He's being chased by Singletary, who slows him up. And Sims is out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Singletary getting credit. They're short of a first down by a yard. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Give a little credit to Dexter Bussey on a good block as he rammed into Al Harris, number 90, and slowed him up so that Sims was able to dip to the outside. And what a runner he is. He can really turn it on. And of course, last week he caught a big long touchdown, as all Lion fans know, after dropping one when he was wide open, but he came back and made amends.
He became a hero after being a possible GOAT, Billy Sims. There you're looking at the Lions offense, and most of it on the ground. And it's Sims in that offensive line. 3rd and 1 at the 43. Leonard Thompson is in motion. Sims has a first down. Vince Thompson, a free agent, entered the game on 3rd down and was out front blocking. Mike Singletary makes the stop. We all remember Singletary's enormous hit on Joe Delaney, the Kansas City sensational rookie, and he was chasing Sims here.
Well, he has now taken over the middle linebacker slot, and he is just following the action of the plays. He goes down the line of scrimmage, avoids the block, but he can't get in there in time before they get the first down for Detroit. Mike Singletary out of Baylor, who will hit you hard.
So it's the 1st and 10 at the Bears 39. Mark Nichols is wide left, and in motion comes Scott. Keeping it on the ground, Sims up the middle, runs into a host of blue jerseys and picks up maybe a yard. Dan Hampton, number 99, the left end, who got off to a slow start this year, but has come on. And I think the Bears know that as far as the outside men, Hampton and Harris, they've got some pretty good set of people there. Osborne and Page, of course, 24 years between them in experience, and Page retiring after this year. So a gain of 4 as we look at Billy Sims, who last year gained 1,303 yards and trying to break that in this season. He didn't play in the first game between these clubs, and Rick Kane gained over 100 yards. So it's 2nd and 8 at the 37 for the white-shirted Lions. No score. And Sims is hit hard. And there is Otis Wilson. If Singletary doesn't get you, Otis will.
2 hard-hitting linebackers, and he was in the middle, filled the gap there, and nobody actually even threw a block on Otis Wilson as he got through to make the tackle. As you see, he had 8 last week. So now the Lions are into a, well, not a sure passing situation, but I would imagine they'll throw the ball or maybe the draw.
They're going with 6 defensive backs as Todd Bell and Jeff Fisher come in, and all 3 linebackers come out for the Bears. Hartenstein is in as well. So it's 3rd and 7 at the 36. Horace King, number 25, is in the backfield. 3rd and 7 for Eric Hipple. He has time. His pass is dropped by Ulysses Norris, a bit high. Defended on the play by strong safety Gary Fensick. So Fensick, who's having a fine all-round year, makes the stop, and it'll be a punting situation for the Lions. And coming in to kick is Tom Skladany as we have a score around the National Football League.
We can only assume that Skladany is going to kick the ball. As you know,
right.
He'll throw once in a while.
He may throw to Cobb, right? Skladany with Jeff Fisher. Fisher is 2nd in the NFC in punt returns. Skladany leading the NFC in punting at midfield. Plenty of time on the clock. And he zooms this kick into the end zone for a touchback. So Tom Skladany, who started his career with the Browns, couldn't come to an agreement with them. And the Lions have a solid punter there, a 36-yard kick, and the Bears will take over on the 20-yard line. So we have 9:11 remaining in the first quarter and still no score between these longtime rivals. Central battle today, John.
Cleveland has taken a 3-0 lead in the first quarter on a Matt Barr field goal, and Buffalo leads New England 3-0 also on a field goal in the first quarter.
1st and 10 at the 20-yard line for the Bears, and Ricky Watts, number 80, is the wide receiver. along with Baschnagel 84. Payton is in motion here, and they go to a wide receiver screen to Ricky Watts on the left side, and Watts breaks a tackle and is close to a first down. I think he's short by maybe a yard. Defending on the play was Wayne Smith, the left cornerback. Stan White, the linebacker.
Okay, simple 2 or 3 steps down and then back and hope for the lineman to peel out in front of you. Here's Ricky Watts with his gloves on this cold day. There's Ted Albrecht out in front. Noah Jackson, 65, blocking on English. And Ricky Watts turns it straight up the field, and the Bears have a 2nd down and 1 situation.
So Ricky Watts, who last week caught 3 passes. Ken Marjoram, number 89, is in the game now, replacing Baschnagel. And Matt Suhey can't go anywhere. And he fumbles momentarily. Lions single that they have it. Dave Purifoy was in on the play. So Suhey, who scored a touchdown last week for the Bears, and there is Purifoy, who began his career with the Green Bay Packers and has become an awesome pass rusher, was the MVP on defense last year for the Lions.
He has 9 sacks so far this year, and the Lions are pretty good at sacking quarterbacks. Bubba Baker trying to get himself back in form. He hasn't had too many sacks lately, but he had a lot early. He had missed a few games with that turf toe like Billy Sims.
Mike Cobb, number 87, is in the game now for the Bears. They have 2 tight ends in there, and they have Ricky Watts in the wingback. Play action pass for Evans, and the pass up the middle is incomplete, intended for Ricky Watts. Defended on the play by Jimmy Allen, the free safety, number 40, and Fantetti, who the Lions expect a lot of back there defending as well. Allen, one of the leaders in interceptions.
And it was a good idea by the Bears, a good play action pass, but the pass was high as Evans continues to have problems this year throwing too high to the receivers.
So Bob Parsons will punt for the 2nd time, and Robbie Martin is deep for the Lions. He was a 4th-round draft choice by the Steelers and was the last cut picked up by the Lions. And Martin has averaged just under 8.5 yards a return. Good high kick and a fair catch called for by Martin, and the Lions will have good field position when they begin at the 43-yard line. So 7.5 minutes remaining in the 1st quarter. The Lions have not won on the road this year, and all of their losses have been on grass. So let's see if this is a different complexion today. The ball at the 43-yard line, and we'll be keeping you abreast of the other games concerning this NFC Central Division race. Tampa Bay is playing Green Bay today. Freddie Scott, number 87, is wide to the left, and Leonard Thompson split to the right. 1st and 10 at the 43, and Dexter Bussey goes off the right side. Jim Osborne makes the tackle.
The Lions lead the NFL in average per rush, 4.7 yards. That is really a fantastic average when you figure how many times you carry the ball, how many quarterback sneaks you have, and various things like that. As you look at a few scores in early scores, 3-0 Cleveland over Pittsburgh. So we have to believe that the Lions are going to continue to run the ball and spot pass when they get into certain situations.
2nd and 8 at the 45-yard line. Mark Nichols has come in the game at wide receiver. So Scott and Nichols are wide left at the 45-yard line. Hipple has time, and he can run it. He is caught from behind at the 47 by Al Harris. But one thing Eric Hipple has given this team, besides a confident approach, he likes to get the ball upfield, is the dimension of being able to run with the ball. And Hipple last week gained 27 yards and has gained 59 all year.
And you have to give Al Harris some special credit, because that time not only was he on the pass rush, but before he got to the quarterback, he jumped up to prevent Hipple from throwing to obstruct his view, and then continued the rush and made the tackle. Al Harris, who played for Frank Kush out there in Arizona.
Lions 2 for 3. They've been okay on 3rd down conversions. Horace King is in the game, number 25. 3rd and 6 at the 47. Now the question is, was Dan Hampton brought off by Dorney or the other way around? Dorney might have gotten him off.
From Hampton's reaction, it sounded like he thought he made the mistake. We'll find out.
Encroachment. Defense.
All right, Pat Haggerty is the referee, and despite the interference, you could obviously tell that Hampton was guilty of encroachment. And so what that'll do is make it 3rd and less than a yard. And so now the Bears decide to change
Number
their
99.
defense.
Defense.
They're bringing in the 5 linemen. Hartenstein, number 73, is in. Lee Coons, 57, also comes in. So Singletary and Coons are in the game On a 3rd and 1. Vince Thompson, number 38, the free agent we were talking about, has also entered the game for the Lions. Leonard Thompson in motion. 3rd and 1. Billy Sims dives and has the first down. Into Bear territory at the 46. Bruce Herron makes the stop. So Billy Sims, who had that 81-yard touchdown reception last week and went over the 100-yard mark for the 5th time, and actually the first back to gain 100 yards against the Dallas Cowboys this year. That may be the greatest achievement of all last week. So it's 1st and 10 at the 46-yard line, and the Lions have all of them. Dexter Bussey back in at fullback for the Lions. Mark Nichols quickly to the other side. And now Freddie Scott goes. So a lot of movement for the Lions in the backfield, and pressure on Eric Hipple. And there he is, Dan Hampton, coming in from left end to make that play. He circled around, and you saw some of the quickness and speed that the Bears liked when they drafted Hampton and Harris on the 1st round.
There was nothing to stop Hampton as he comes from the right side. You're going to see Keith Dorney over there, and he got by Dorney and just came straight on through, and Hipple had no chance. Dan Hampton with a quick move to the outside to get around and in a hurry, and he brings him down as Hipple tucked it away. He's trying to get that ball off, and that can be dangerous when you're going down.
Leonard Thompson, who has caught 6 passes, has entered the game in wide receivers, wide left, 2nd and 19 at the 45. Hipple going back. He's under a tremendous rush, and the pass is incomplete and was close to being picked off by Gary Campbell, the linebacker, coming in on the play. But it was Alan Page, the old geezer, really put the pressure on Hipple.
The offensive line is supposed to let the defenders in a little bit on a screen pass, but they got in too quickly, and that time Hipple almost had a catastrophe because Gary Campbell was right in the middle of the screen.
Eric Hipple, 4th-round draft choice out of Utah State, making his 5th start. 14 for 25 for 336 yards in that October game. 3rd and 19 at the 45. 4:43 remaining, 1st quarter, and the Bears are showing an inside blitz. Now back off. Hipple, quick throw, and it's tipped away on the pass. Terry Schmidt on the pass intended for Freddie Scott. And you talk about an underrated Terry Schmidt. He was worked on last week against Lofton and held Lofton pretty much in check.
Well, he had to cover him on a man-on-man situation. Gave him a little slight push there, but the ball was up and over. Schmidt was there on the coverage and battered away. And teams always go after Terry Schmidt, but he seems to come up with a good job every week.
So it's 4th down, and Tom Skladany for Ohio State. Jeff Fisher is deep at the 15. So it's been like a chess game going back and forth so far with no real threats of scoring. 4:37 remaining 1st quarter. A line drive kick. Fisher. Penalty marker down as Fisher dives close to the 20-yard line, and we may have a clip. Vince Thompson was in on the play, a 47-yard kick. So let's pick up Pat Haggerty's call. Bruce Herron might have been guilty clipping, but we'll let the referee tell us for sure.
Blocking above the waist, in the middle of the back, on the return.
All right, we'll never know, but the Bears are going to have it backed up.
That's one thing we do know. It's going to be very bad field position. The Bears will be coming from about the 5-yard line, 7-yard line maybe. Let's make it accurate, 8-yard line.
So they have 4:26 to go, and the Bears will have a minute or so to think this thing over. Dick Stockton and Johnny Morris at Soldier Field. That's our score. We'll be back in a moment. Relationship, we hope, with NCAA basketball. 1st and 10 at the 8-yard line. Vince Evans really has his work cut out for him. And Walter Payton trying to get some yards and goes outside where the linebackers Fantetti and Cobb combined to make the stop. The Bears are 3-8, as we said, in last place, coming off a 1-2 road trip. They beat Kansas City in overtime, but lost to division teams Tampa Bay and Green Bay. This is a tough town, John, as you know.
Well, that kind of shows the Chicago fans' frustrations. I can't argue with it too much right now.
Now, the record speaks for itself, doesn't it? Evans is 2 for 4 for 16 yards early. He has a 2nd and 6 at the 12. And here's Payton again. Payton is hit. Gay and English were involved on the play. William Gay has not lost his aggressiveness. You know, he was fined for spearing Lynn Dickey several weeks ago, but Monty Clark told us last night that it really hasn't affected the aggressive play of William Gay, who broke in as a tight end with the Denver Broncos. And you look at the all-time leading rushers, Payton remains number 4. So the Bears are 0 for 2 in third down conversions as we have a 3rd and 4 now at the 14-yard line. Evans looking to throw, and a pass is intercepted by Hunter. James Hunter intercepts the ball, but a penalty marker is down. It was intended for Matt Suhey, and Hunter intercepts the pass, and the penalty apparently is against the Bears.
They probably caught it on the Bear offensive line for holding. You saw Hunter with that big cast on his arm.
Offense declines.
So a touchdown on James Hunter's interception, and he's just returned after 4 weeks being out with an injury.
Well, it's not quite a touchdown. They're on the 9-yard line. He was knocked out of bounds.
All right, well, it is not a touchdown if they mark it there, but a big interception for Hunter nonetheless, and for the Lions, their 16th interception of the year, so that's a good way to get back into action.
Oh, it certainly is, and of course, the danger with Hunter is the fact that his arm is not that strong, and if he has to get out in the open field and tackle somebody like a Walter Payton, but it didn't seem to hurt him then. The interception puts Detroit in good shape.
1st and goal at the 9 for the Lions, so it's still 0-0 in the game. Sims gets a yard, that's all. Al Harris makes the play, and forcing was fencing. Bears can be awfully tough back here, so we wonder if Hipple will be thinking pass here. It's 2nd and goal on the 7.
And you never know, because you never know what kind of defense the Bears will give you. They'll give you that 5-1-5, all kinds of weird defenses, even down near their own goal line. So the Lions will be alert for that, and we could see maybe an audible too, because Eric Hipple, I'm sure, has been told to be alert for those different defenses and call the right play against the right situation.
He has not completed a pass yet. He's 0 for 4. Mark Nichols and Thompson wide to the right. 2nd and goal at the 7. Hipple looking into the end zone, and the pass is knocked down. Terry Schmidt once again makes a saving play on the throw intended for Ulysses Norris, replacing Hill at tight end. A big play by Schmidt, and the second good one he's made.
Yes, it was a good play. However, he could have very easily have had the interception and stopped this drive, but he couldn't hang on to the ball. Eric Hipple, as you said, has not completed a pass, but he had 4 touchdown passes against the Bears on his debut. I don't know if I've ever seen a quarterback have a debut like he did against the Bears, his first NFL start.
Lions at 3 for 5 in third down conversions. 3rd down, Scott and Thompson wide to the right. 3rd and goal at the 7. Hipple has time, double pumps, and his throw is incomplete. Intended for Fred Scott. He had a hand on it and then lost it, and Schmidt was there to apply the hit, and Hipple is wondering, what do I have to do to get the ball in? It's 4th down, and the Bears defense holds, and Eddie Murray is in to attempt a field goal to break this tie here, a scoreless tie, with 2:02 remaining in the first.
And just think, they got plenty of time to get it all measured, everything all set to go, not like last week.
Count the players, will you, John?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Hipple will be holding for Murray. What a year he's had. 2nd in scoring in the NFC. And a 24-yard field goal is good. And so the Detroit Lions are on the board on Murray's 18th field goal of the season. But the big story on this drive is the fact that the Bears did prevent a touchdown against the Lions.
Subaru owners have a lot in common besides all the different models they own, with front-wheel drive or on-demand four-wheel drive. They also share a habit of trading in one Subaru for another Subaru. No leading import is higher than Subaru in owner loyalty. People stick with a car they don't get stuck with. Subaru, inexpensive, and built to stay that way.
There's a hungry kind of feeling, and every day it grows. You know there's so much more to you than anybody knows.
Specialist Kevin Crowley is working with tomorrow's technology in the Army's newest tank.
All that you can be.
The laser determines target range and feeds it to the computer.
All that you can be.
It's just incredible.
'Cause we need you in the Army.
Next Saturday, get into the spirit as NCAA basketball premieres on CBS Sports. Now through the National Championship. Go one-on-one with CBS Sports.
This is Dick Stockton along with Johnny Morris reminding you that this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Chicago Bears and the National Football League is prohibited. A short kick, and Emery Moorhead at the 20-yard line gets ahead of steam, and a pretty good return past the 35-yard line before James Harrell, number 51, makes the stop for the Lions. So the Bears start out in much better field position than they did before.
And Vince Evans will have to get things a-popping for Chicago. That last time, even though it looked like the Bear receivers, a couple of them were together, he did throw into the coverage. There were Lions all over the place on that interception, and Vince Evans really hasn't had a good game for the Bears in quite a while. He's got to get himself warmed up, get this team going.
That's what he's done so far. The big interception by James Hunter resulted in the field goal. Bashnagel, 84, is in motion. 1st and 10 at the 36. Matt Suhey gets the call and almost breaks a tackle. Gary Cobb, the left linebacker, number 53, who's come on strong, makes the stop on Matt Suhey. Cobb was originally with the Dallas Cowboys, so last week's victory for the Lions was very sweet for him. He was waived by Dallas after being a 9th-round draft choice. Plays the run exceptionally well.
He had a reception on the kick, on the fake punt, and he also had an interception, and he is playing good football as Vince Evans comes to the line, is no longer calling the plays. They are being sent in by the wide receivers.
At the 42, 2nd and 4, Marjoram in there, and Walter Payton runs into a stone wall. Trying to hit the right side of the Detroit Lions, and we saw Ray Oldham, the strong safety, come in. Well, in a game important to the NFC Central Division race and wild card berth, first quarter, Tampa Bay off to a quick 10-0 lead over Green Bay. And keep in mind, next week, the Packers go against the Minnesota Vikings, who right now have a 2-game lead in the NFC Central Division. You'll see that game, CBS, next Sunday. 3rd and 3 at the 43-yard line. Bashnagel is wide to the right for the Bears. Watts split left, and penalty markers it down. The pass is complete to Suhey, who dives forward for an apparent first down. If the penalty is against the Lions, the Bears will have the first down anyway.
I believe the Lions had jumped off sides, and the Bears will probably refuse the penalty unless they were drawn off, but it didn't look like it.
Offside. Defense.
6 of one, half a dozen of another. It's a first down for the Bears. The Bears have been penalized, but so have the Lions, but so have the Bears.
Yes, both teams have had a lot of penalties this year. 75 and 82 penalties. And to give you a comparison, Miami leads the league with fewest penalties, and they had 55 going into this game.
So it's a first down as Ken Marjoram, number 89, comes in for Chicago. 1st and 10 for the Bears at the 48-yard line. 3-0 the score, and Eddie Murray's 24-yard field goal.
The Bears are trying to establish a running game against the Lions, and that's tough. They are tough against the run. Where they are a little bit vulnerable is against the pass.
Vince Evans, who has 14 interceptions against his log on a play-action pass batted down at the line. Looked like William Gay got a hand on it and knocked the ball down right at the line of scrimmage.
That was good instinct by Gay because of the fact that Evans went back his 1-2 pump. That was a precision type pass, and he stopped his rush and just leaped up and put his hands up there and batted the ball away.
You're looking at the Lions defense, John, and it's been a defense where the secondary has been under siege this year.
Stan White calls the defenses for the Lions, and he played under Ted Marchibroda, who's the Bears offensive coordinator, so he knows how Marchibroda likes to call his offense.
A lot of ex-Colts on this Detroit club. 2nd and 10, penalty marker down as Payton tries to find some room, and I think he carried 3 or 4 players with him as he gets into Detroit territory. as William Gay there to make the play.
The Lions jumped off sides. I believe somebody did, and of course it depends on whether or not somebody moved to cause him to go off sides, and that's what Gay is saying, number 79, but he's arguing, but to no avail. It is against Detroit, another penalty.
So the Lions living up to their reputation for penalties.
And these little 5-yarders, they'll kill you. They'll keep a drive alive.
Offside, 79, defense.
So William Gay is offside, makes it 2nd and 5.
There he goes right there. Couldn't get back in time.
2nd and 5 at the 47-yard line. Nothing in favor of the Lions, and Payton going outside, and Walter is out of bounds after picking up 2 yards. He had Emmanuel Zanders in front of him. Well, what's happened in the Tampa Bay game? They've taken a lead. Let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Dick, here's the storyline. David Whitehurst forced out because of an injury. Rich Campbell, the rookie from Cal, in for the first time, and he tossed this interception to Cedric Brown. Brown ran it back 81 yards for a touchdown, and now Tampa Bay, as you said, leads the pack by 10. Let's go back to Dick and Johnny in Soldier Field.
Tampa Bay against Minnesota on CBS next week, and the battle in the NFC Central with 3 clubs in for the wild card, trailing the Vikings. 3rd and 3 at the 46. This may be the last play of the first quarter. Evans under a lot of pressure, and his pass up the middle is overthrown and incomplete, intended for Ricky Watts. And defending on the play, it'll be 4th down with 3 seconds to go.
Vince Evans took quite a pop from Bubba Baker after he threw that ball, but his sights were high once again. He just got to somehow get him down. He's had that problem all season long.
So Parsons will punt. So the Bears had good field position to no avail. Robbie Martin is back on a fake, and the pass is tipped up. We are seeing fake punt attempts and fake placements, and Bashnagel was the intended receiver, as Parsons, who's been known to do this, of course. The clock has worn down. So the Bears try to do it, and not a bad place to attempt it. That's the end of the first quarter. With Eddie Murray's field goal the difference. We'll be back. Chicago. It is 25 degrees game time as the Bears meeting the Detroit Lions. 1st and 10 at the 46-yard line. Philadelphia regaining the lead from the Giants in the first quarter. Eagles trying to hold on to a 1-game lead over Dallas. Dallas and Chicago play Thanksgiving Day here on CBS. At the 46 out of the I formation, Dexter Bussey cutting off the left side, and a fine play by Dan Hampton preventing a bigger gains. So far, Eric Hipple is 0 for 6 in the passing department, and Billy Sims has gained 25 yards on 7 carries.
It has not been too much of an offensive game so far. Things are starting a little bit slowly, but there's a long way to go. 3 quarters of football, and we're going to have some bombers.
Cincinnati bombing this year. Bombing the opposition 14-0 over Denver. 2nd and 7 at the 49. Hipple. His pass is complete to Scott, and a first down at the 35. Fred Scott from Amherst. One of the most resourceful receivers you'll see anywhere. Hit by Reuben Henderson, and the leading receiver now with his 39th reception of the year.
And I tell you, he earned that reception, because Gary Campbell and Doug Plank came in and really gave him a pop. He was hit both ways by about 4 Bears at the same time. He grabs the ball in the stomach. Here comes one hit, and here comes Campbell, 59, to put the other hit on, and the Lions have a first down at the 34.
Out of the eye, Bussey is the up back. Sims is the deep back, and on a reverse, Scott almost lost the ball. He bobbled it, and that will prevent the Lions from surprising Chicago, as they'll lose 3 or 2 yards on the play. And it was Al Harris and Otis Wilson who combined, but tell you one thing, who knows what would have happened if Scott doesn't bobble that handoff from Billy Sims.
Well, they do that play quite often, reverses and fake punts, and that's really a good thing to loosen up defenses. I really love the philosophy, and that doesn't mean we're going to see it just one time. The Lions sometimes will do it 2 times in the game, because the defense will figure, hey, they've already run the reverse, we don't have to worry about it anymore. But the Lions will come back and run it again.
Well, #1 rushing team in the NFC in a passing situation at the 37. 2nd and 13. Wide receiver screen. Nichols. And Mark Nichols, the rookie, gets inside the 30 to about the 27-yard line. Gary Campbell makes the stop. Mark Nichols, the #1 draft choice, was out and missed 4 weeks earlier, so he has been slow coming around as New England taking the lead over Buffalo, and that's a surprise, and Pittsburgh over Cleveland in the first quarter.
The Steelers were 6-5 going in, so they could stay right in there if they beat Cleveland. Cleveland had a record of 5-6 going into that game.
Horace King is in at fullback on 3rd and 3 as the Bears are in their 5-1-5 defense. Todd Bell is the 5th defensive back for Chicago, and they show a blitz, and Billy Sims has the first down at the 21-yard line. Going off right tackle. Harris tackled him. Penalty marker down. Let's see if there's a late hit in there. Doug Plank came on strong, and he might have given Sims an extra lick, and if so, that's going to tack on some more yards for the Lions. Opening minutes of the second quarter, 3-0 Detroit on Eddie Murray's field goal.
Number 46, defense.
That's the call. Plank. Personal foul, so they'll mark this one off, and Eric Hipple, who managed to get 3 points with a 1st and goal on the 9 earlier, will have a chance to get a touchdown. There's Doug Plank.
Okay, there's Plank, number 46, up in the line. Then he'll go down the line of scrimmage. Just watch for 46 come late. Al Harris is the man who makes the tackle as Sims comes back off the block by Horace King. And here comes Plank, number 46, late from the right side of your screen. He'll come flying in there. Here he comes right there, and that's almost a spear.
So it's 1st and 10, just beyond the 10-yard line. Mike Singletary, number 50, has come in the game at linebacker, and up the middle is Dexter Bussey. He carries a few people with him, and another penalty as Bussey gets to the 6-yard line, and flags all over the place here in this early in this game, and this one is against the Lions. Al Harris made the tackle on Bussey, trying to go up the middle. Not big for a fullback, but he can find the hole, and he's been a terrific blocker for Billy. Al Harris, who along with Hampton picked on the 1st round, really coming on and developing. Harris has been outstanding, the best of the front four.
Holding, 55, offense.
Amos Fowler, number 65, the center, guilty of holding there. So the ball is back at the 20, and it'll be 1st and 20. Now the Lions can get a 1st down without scoring.
They'd have to get down to about the 1-inch line to do it, but they could do it.
Scott, number 87, is wide to the left. Thompson split right as Scott comes to the line. Eric Hipple with enough time, and his pass is overthrown, intended for Dexter Bussey. Well, now for an NFL Today report to find out what's going on, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Dick, the homecoming party is underway under glass in Houston, and Bum Phillips and New Orleans strike first. They were looking for George Rogers, and Jack Holmes ran it in for the 9. 7-0. Let's go back to you now in Chicago.
All right, that's got to be awfully sweet for Bum, right? 7-0 in Houston.
You think he wants to win that game?
Maybe more than any other. 2nd and 20 now for the Lions. Mark Nichols, the 1st-round draft pick, wide to the right. Scott moving toward the line. Hipple going to the air. He could run. He's trapped. He gets by Alan Page, and Hipple finally gets it off to Nichols, and Nichols is down inside the 10. So with all of that movement all over the field, it was Mark Nichols who picks up 10 yards, Otis Wilson the tackle, and that'll make it 3rd and about 9.
Boy, I give some great credit to Eric Hipple. He shows his mobility as a quarterback as he goes out of the pocket, and then he turns and makes his cut with his back to everybody. He got away from Al Harris. Alan Page puts the tries to put a clamp on him, and then Hipple who stops, and one of his greatest assets is to be able to stop and throw on the run. He really does that very well.
Well, he's got the speed dimension, he has the strong arm, and you know, Fowler, the center, said, I've never met a more intense quarterback, but off the field he's like a pussycat, so he knows when to turn it on. 3rd and 9, and the Lions are 3 for 6 in 3rd down conversions. They give it to Billy Sims trying to pick his way, and he gets to about the 6-yard line. So it's 4th down, and Monty Clark is going to go for Eddie Murray's number. We anticipate Harris makes the stop.
Al Harris, number 90, has quietly been all over the field for Chicago, playing one heck of a game.
Tampa Bay blowing out Green Bay.
Oh, boy. The Packers had won 3 in a row. Now they're on the road, and this is a big game because the Packers would fall to 5-7. Tampa Bay would be 6-6. So the Packers better get on the go if they want to get back in that one.
A 23-yard attempt. Hipple is holding for Eddie Murray to kick a 24-yarder in the first quarter. Penalty marker down. The kick is good, but let's see what the call is. Lions don't have to worry about their kicking game as far as Cladany and Murray's concerned.
Offside.
Penalty
Defense,
against the
number
Bears.
24.
It'll be well, let's see. It was 4th down, and now the Lions look to the bench.
When we talk about that situation for the getting a first down, it's at the 6. If they take a 5-yard penalty, they would get it down to about the 1, and then they would have a 4th and 1 to go for the touchdown. Now this is a big decision for Monty Clark.
He's got Sims. That's saying, do we decline the penalty and take the points, or do we go for the first down? And they still haven't made up their mind.
Yes, he did. He said decline the penalty. He's going to take the 3 points that were on the board.
Offside. Defense. Decline. Score good.
All right, so Eddie Murray has kicked his 2nd field goal of the game, 23 yards out, and Murray now 19 for 25 on the season. So the Detroit Lions have moved ahead 6-0 over the...
Hey, there's some Michigan fans, huh?
You know, it's not that far, but what it's like for them to come outdoors for once. Eddie Murray kicking off to Emery Moorhead, and is taken by Moorhead at the 9. I want to ask Johnny Morris a question on Monty Clark's decision as they're down at the 23-yard line. Do you take points off the board to go for it, or do you try and get in there? What are your feelings about the Lions' decision here?
Well, most people will say take the points, but I don't know. I'm not coaching, but anytime you can get down to the half-a-yard line and 1-yard line, you might get 7 points out of it. And if you don't get it, you have the Chicago Bears on their own half-yard line, and they're not an explosive offense. So you got the team. Even if you don't make it, you really got them in a bind. But it's 6 of one, or half a dozen the other, I guess. But Monty Clark chose to take the 3 points.
This looks like an audible for Vince Evans. 1st and 10 at the 24. Marjoram 89 coming toward the line, and a play-action pass for Evans. He has time, but no more. He is sacked behind the line. Dave Purifoy, number 75, and Al Baker, number 60. Well, what's happening in the Tampa Bay game? For an NFL Today report, let's go to Brent.
Dick Lion fans are going to say beware of the Buccaneers because they are clawing and scratching, and they're all over the Green Bay Packers. James Owens easy, 35 yards. It's 17-0, and the Buccaneers are going to win this one going away. Let's go back to Dick in Chicago.
All right, so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who stumbled at home, they've been a pretty good home club. Keep in mind the Lions play at Green Bay in 2 weeks. 2nd and 14 at the 20. And Evans on a play action drills it up the middle, and it's dropped by Ricky Watts at the 40. And he could have been off to the races. There were some Lions covering him around the play, but the way he was running that pattern, Johnny, he could have been off.
Yes, he has plenty of speed, and there was a pass that Vince Evans did put right down in the stomach where you can catch that ball. As you can see, it was kind of a partial rollout, a Q6. He has to turn back the other way, brings Watts right there, could have got it right on stride, and he's got those gloves on. You'll have to wonder, in this day and age, when it gets a little bit cold, these players put those gloves on. You don't have that feel when you have those real fingers going for the ball. Ricky Watts, tough play for the Bears. They are not playing good football today.
3 wide receivers for Chicago. They're 1 of 5 in 3rd down conversions. They need 14 yards to keep it going. And this pass is incomplete. Ken Marjoram, who last week saw a ball go in and out of his midsection on a pass that was intercepted by Lee that kind of turned that game, couldn't hold on to that one.
He's normally sure-handed too, and that time Wayne Smith took a swipe at the ball right before it got to Marjoram, which might have obstructed his vision, but anytime the ball hits you in the tummy, that's what the coaches say. You catch that football. It's like a loaf of bread. You take it home and it's yours.
Parsons to punt. You saw Robbie Martin at the 40.
poor coverage downfield.
At the 39-yard line, that's right. And he slipped and fumbles. Now, was the whistle? Yes, it's still Detroit ball. You're right. You know, there were nothing but white shirts, and Martin just slipped a 40-yard punt. And it could have been danger time for the Chicago Bears, but the Lions have good field position. They have all the points in the game thanks to Eddie Murray's reliable right foot. Lions have the ball on their own 44-yard line, leading 6-0, as Eric Hipple trying to go to the air. 1st and 10 at the 44. Scott 87 is wide to the right. Leonard Thompson split left, play action, and here's a safety blitz by Gary Fensick, and no one picked him up.
Boy, he got in slick and clean, and Hipple was a little bit slow getting up. Fensick was on the line of scrimmage, and off that I formation, he came from the backside, and there was nobody to pick him up. He got there so fast. Gary Fensick will come from the left side. The play action pass, nobody to block him. Watch the two men. The two running backs went to the right, so there's nobody unless the center could get out in time to pick him up, and it happened so fast. The Bears really put the clamps on Hipple that time. Gary Fensick, who hits like anybody out of Yale University.
Loss at 9, 2nd and 19 at the 36. Fumble. Sims, I believe, picked it up. He was right there and went after the loose ball, so they lose a couple of more. So the Bears, who haven't gotten their offense together, and actually the Lions, not that much either.
It's kind of like a drive in reverse. They're going the wrong way. It's a nice drive, except towards their own goal line.
So it's now 3rd and 23, and the Bears bring in both Jeff Fisher and Todd Bell in the secondary, and Horace King comes in at fullback for the Lions. Terry Schmidt coming up and playing Leonard Thompson tight against the line. Eric Hipple looking left and throwing complete to tight end Ulysses Norris, and a first down. A big play. Hipple has had a lot of big plays, and it is a first down at the 44-yard line of Chicago. Fensick made the stop, and Ulysses Norris getting the starting call, a big catch.
And that was really finding the wide receiver, because both wide receivers were covered, double covered downfield. So Norris comes down, gets one-on-one coverage, heads for the sidelines, and gets the first down. A nice job. And of course, the Lions are not playing with their experienced tight end David Hill, who has really been coming on. So Norris is filling the bill well so far.
At the 43-yard line, first down, 6-0 Lions. 7:05 remaining. Billy Sims head down, penalty marker thrown in the backfield. And Sims picked up about 6 or 7 on the play. Mike Singletary made the play, but it's going to be a holding penalty against the Lions, who have been penalized considerably so far in this game.
They had Carl Baldischweiler was out there blocking for Sims, and Sims, did you notice he did a nice job of waiting for the block and then cut up and got an extra 4 or 5 yards, but apparently somebody was holding there, and it could have been Baldischweiler. We don't know.
Holding, number 61,
no.
Offense.
I think he said 61, Homer Elias.
So that'll set the Lions back. The penalty story in this game, kind of even, and as Johnny pointed out, 2 of the more heavily penalized teams in the NFC. So it's 1st and 20 now at the 47-yard line. Hipple, by the way, 4 for 11 for 61 yards. And a shuffle pass to Billy Sims, and Sims down to the 40-yard line. A fake and a flip to Billy Sims, and they get inside the 40-yard line, short of a first down by about 5.
Looked like we were back in college football there for a minute, back in the old days at Oklahoma, as Hipple executed very well. He came out kind of like the old option, and he just pitched it off to Sims, caught him right in stride, and he almost got the first down. Now they have a 2nd and about 5. There it is. The fake in, a pitch out to Sims, who catches it in stride. He has Ulysses Norris right out there in front. And it's Doug Plank, I think, that was on the bottom of that pile. Gary Fensick on the tackle.
Norris really didn't block well on that one. 2nd and 5. And here is Sims left side. First down for Billy Sims to the 32-yard line. So the Lions are going to their bread and butter now. Right side, then the left. And Sims has a first down for Detroit.
And he would have been gone. Alan Page got one hand on his ankle and just tripped him up as he was ready to break out. As you see, Billy Sims with 5 100-yard rushing games so far this season. George Rogers and Tony Dorsett each have 6.
And, of course, Payton has had 2. against San Diego and last week against Green Bay.
Payton certainly hasn't been a factor in this game so far.
They've used him as a pass receiver. He's run a couple of times, and you can say that about the Bears offense. 1st and 10 at the 32, although Chicago receivers have dropped some good throws from Evans. Draw play, Dexter Bussey goes nowhere. Otis Wilson was the first to hit Bussey. So it'll be 2nd and long yardage now. The clock showing 5:25 and running here in the second quarter. A clear sunny day in Chicago, but sub-freezing temperatures. Bussey, 6 leading active rushers, he pointed out, and right now the all-time Lion rusher broke Altie Taylor's record, but you know it won't take Billy Sims long to bust that through. 2nd and 9. Mark Nichols, Freddie Scott to the left. The lone setback is Sims coming out of the backfield, but Hipple is looking right all the way, and it was intended for Bussey. Norris was there too, and I don't think the Lions wanted to have 2 receivers so close together, John.
No, they didn't. Norris kind of stumbled coming out of his move a little bit, and he was a little late getting to the spot where Eric Hipple threw the ball. He was throwing more to the spot than he was the man, and quarterbacks do that sometimes. You got to throw when you're running precise patterns. They're expecting you to be at a spot, and they throw that ball there. Of course, they obviously have to adjust somewhat, but that was basically the premise on that pass.
So it's 3rd and 9 at the 31. Horace King is the fullback now, as he normally is on 3rd down situations. At the 31, here comes the blitz, and Hipple gets the ball loose. Ulysses Norris falls down. He looked like he had Gary Fensick beaten, but he fell down, and Plank was there as well, and it goes as an incomplete pass on 3rd and 9. So Ulysses Norris, 4th round draft choice in his 3rd year, couldn't manage that one, and Hipple will go off the field.
The field is a little bit slipperier than it appears as you look at it on your television screen. It looks nice and green and dry, but it's not. They had snow in here, Chicago, in the last couple of days, and they've tried to dry it off, but they're still. Did you notice when he slipped, you could see the water come up and squirt up like it is wet.
Now the Lions, we said, have lost all their games on the road, but all of those games were played on natural grass. This is their first road game on artificial turf. So Eddie Murray is going to try a 49-yard kick. He is 2 for 2 so far today. He kicked the 47-yarder last week against Dallas, and this kick is perfect. Eddie Murray. Boy, does he give the Lions a boost. His 3rd field goal of the game. 49-yard kick. Tom Tenure is the center there, and the Lions lead it now 9-0.
I've had to write some tough.
So Eddie Murray, who has done it all, 3 for 3, a 49-yard field goal to go along with a 24-yarder in the first quarter and a 23-yarder here, will be kicking to Emery Moorhead, the former Bronco and Giant, as the Lions have upped their margin to 9-0 here. They trounced the Bears 48-17 at the Silver Dome October 19th, and leading here on 3 field goals. One of them coming after an interception by James Hunter, the only turnover of the game of note. This is a short end-over-end kick. Jeff Fisher gets to the 29 and a fumble, and the Bears retain possession. So the Bears have it. Philadelphia and the Giants in a big battle for an NFL Today report. Let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Dick, this should remind your sidekick Johnny Morris of a hit by one Dick Butkus. Watch this pass from Jaworski to Montgomery, and here comes Courier on the slam. That's why the Giants are ahead. They're playing tough defense. Back to you in Chicago.
You get a hit like that, John?
Oh, a few times.
1st and 10 for the Bears at the 27. Bashnagel with the cast off his broken wrist this week, and they give it to Matt Suhey. And Suhey gets nowhere, and the crowd echoing their disappointment.
And look at all those white jerseys there. The blocking broke down entirely, and that's a bad sign for a football team, and these fans know it here in Chicago. The Bears are not playing that good of football, and usually when you see gang tackling like that immediately on impact with the ball carrier, you know that the blocking broke down in more than one place.
Walter Payton has been invisible in this game. Evans having his problems. His receivers have dropped a couple. 2nd and 10 at the 27. The Lions have outpassed the Bears 61-20 so far. And Evans is decked inside the 20-yard line. Doug English, number 78, who sat out last year to go into the oil business, just struck it rich, getting Vince Evans and the Lions Silver Rush in full bloom this afternoon.
They had 30 sacks coming into this game, so you can see Doug English with the kind of the shoulder slap. He got around Noah Jackson, then around Ted Albrecht, I should say, and just put the clamps on Vince Evans. Good play by Doug English, who went by 2 Bear offensive linemen. One pushed him out to the outside, and then nobody really got a good hit on him.
Second sack for the Lions, 3rd and 20, and right now the Lions are getting something going. Penalty marker down. The clock might have run out, and I believe it did. So I think, Johnny Mars, right now we're in danger of seeing the Lions just steamroll the Chicago Bears unless the Bears do something to turn it around.
Well, now you have a delay of game. Everything is going wrong. This team is supposed to be a contender for the NFC Central Division title, and now they'll be lucky to win 4 or 5 games. They are now 3-8, and everything is in disarray. There's no question about it.
Same story for Green Bay today. Things are in disarray at Tampa Bay as the Bucs lead 24-0. Tampa Bay against Minnesota next Sunday on CBS. 3rd and 25 at the 12. Baschnagel in motion. And you know there'll be pressure on Evans. And he dinks it out, and Walter Payton has it, but he's not going anywhere. So a little dink pass to Walter Payton. Dave Purifoy was there to make the stop. That's not the kind of stuff to make up 25 yards on 3rd and long. And the crowd boos as the Bears offense comes off the field. And I'll tell you one thing, the Lions may be winless on the road, but they're showing all signs that they're ready to break out of that.
And the Bears have got some decisions to make. Vince Evans has not been doing well. You got to do something. You might even want to try and bring in another quarterback, bring in Avellini, and maybe something would happen, because something's got to shake the doldrums for Chicago.
Could be good field position as Parsons punting to Robbie Martin. And the ball dropping at midfield, and Martin picks it up and is out of bounds at the 41-yard line. John Skabinski pushed him out of bounds, and so the Lions will have good field position.
Good aggressive play by Martin, because he went and got an extra 5 or 6 yards.
Gotta check the engine speed.
Andy.
There are 7 teams at 5 and 6 vying for a second wild card berth. NFL Today starts it all next Sunday on CBS. 1st and 10 at the 42, and the pass to Norris. He managed to hold on to it as he is ridden out of bounds at the 34-yard line by Gary Fensick. So Ulysses Norris, who actually was out a month with an emergency appendectomy this year.
Here he comes on a slant out. The wide receiver went straight down the field, and Norris takes the angle towards the sideline, and there's not too much the defense can do about that one. They got 8 yards and have a 2nd and 2. That's a good situation to have.
And the Bears playing with the straight 4-3. 2nd and 2 at the 34. Billy Sims, 1st down inside the 30-yard line, loose ball, fumble. And the Bears have recovered. All right, there's a break for Chicago. They haven't had many so far today, and Otis Wilson has picked up the loose ball. Todd Bell forced the fumble.
And it looked like Sims was fumbling the ball as he went down. He lost it. It gets behind him here as he's starting on his way down there, and he just was on his back, so he had no chance to get the fumble. Bollinger almost had it, and there was Otis Wilson, 55. The aggressive man got the ball for Chicago, and maybe that's the kind of a break the Bears need, something to turn things around for them. Now the Lions defense will be tested.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of plays Ted Marchibroda has called in this series, because the Bears need to force the ball down the field. 1st and 10 at the 29-yard line, 2:16 to go in the first half. Play action pass, but there's pressure on Evans. Evans is down. 3rd sack of the game for the Detroit Lions, and it's Dave Purifoy with help from Al Baker. Baker, of course, has led the NFL, or NFC at least, in quarterback sacks in 2 of his 3 years. Down a little bit this year, but he and Purifoy have really put the sandwich on Evans.
Dan Jiggets, number 62, is in now at a tackle spot for the Bears. I don't know if that's because Albrecht was beaten a couple of times or whether Albrecht is slightly injured.
And now we're going to have our 2-minute warning. So the Bears will be facing a 2nd and 18, and the Lions' pressure's been too much. So 2 minutes to go in the first half, and the Lions own all the points.
He was the kind of...
Neil Armstrong and Ted Marchibroda on the sideline. Not much you can do at 2nd and 18 when you know that the Lions defense is beating your offensive line. There's your story right there. Walter Payton has carried 4 times for 8 yards, and he's the big gun for the Bears. 2nd and 18 at the 22. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Evans back in the pocket. Pass dropped. Ricky Watts has dropped it. That's the 2nd time that's happened to him in this game, and in all fairness to Evans, he has not had good protection, and his receivers have dropped some good throws.
And they went back to the same play that they had before. You bring Watts over here, and they got a one-on-one situation with Hector Gray, and Evans did a nice job of just staying in the pocket, put the ball right on the dime for him. He tried to cradle it in there and did not hang on. The Bears still having big problems.
3rd and 18. Brooks Williams, number 83, who was acquired from New Orleans, picked up as a free agent.
And Albrecht is back in.
3rd and 18. Evans trying to get away from William Gay and Cobb, and the pass is thrown away, and now Evans is just running for his life. He really has no chance back there. There's incredible pressure being put on by the Lions front 4 and linebackers, and Evans has got to wonder when he's going to have time to generate anything, and when he does, whether his receivers are going to hold on to the ball. So it's been a nightmarish first half for the Chicago Bears offense. Evans 4 for 13 for 21 yards as Parsons will punt from inside his 10. And Robbie Martin, who was alert the last time the Bears punted, is at the 45. 9-0, the Lions lead on 3 Eddie Murray field goals. Detroit trying to block that one. And a fair catch by Martin at the 47-yard line. Penalty flag, however, is down at the Chicago 25. So let's wait.
They almost did block that one. They came right straight up the middle and were very close to the block. We have a penalty down. We'll have to see who it's against, but the way things are going, it's usually against Chicago these days.
Disregard the flag. Disregard the flag. It is all right.
Disregard the flag. That's a couple of times that's happened. Maybe one of the officials has a cold and it's his hanky or something, you know.
I don't know. They think it's a bean bag or whatever, but bean bag or hanky, they've been throwing it, and you can see how the Bears are huddled up on the sidelines, and it is a cold day in Chicago, but it is not a windy day, you might add.
And the sun is out, I might add.
1st and 10 Lions at the 48-yard line. Freddie Scott, 87, is wide right. Leonard Thompson split to the left. Hipple has to get rid of it in a hurry, and it's almost intercepted. Mike Singletary had it, and in the collision lost it. And Hipple was under siege by some really good Chicago pressure, John.
That one time he threw off the back of his heels. He threw it at the last second. It was an all-arm throw, and it really didn't have the zip on it to get there in time. You see 50 at the right bottom of your screen. He'll go back into the zone. That's Mike Singletary. Now the pressure comes on. Here comes Alan Page, and Hipple throws back off of his heels, and the ball didn't really have the old zip on it, and Singletary went right to the zone and had it right in his hands and could not hang on.
2nd and 10 at the 48, and Hipple going for Ulysses Norris, who tries to make a diving catch. He was open, and he can't hold on. That'll stop the clock with 1:30 remaining in the half, and it's 3rd and 10 for Detroit.
That was a good play by Detroit. They put on a kind of a little pick. Scott went down and turned in, and Norris went to the outside, and they got Doug Plank confused on the coverage, or screened off, I should say, and Norris was wide open, but the pass a little bit too much to the sidelines, but an excellent pattern by the 2 receivers.
Horace King, number 25, and Rick Kane, number 32, are both in the backfield now. Kane gained over 100 yards in that October game at the Silverdome against the Bears. 3rd and 10 at the 48. Hipple has a lot of time. His pass knocked away, incomplete. Doug Plank got a hand on it on the pass intended for Fred Scott. So it'll be 4th down, and now the Bears will have another shot with 1:24 remaining as Hipple goes off. It's been a rough game for Eric today and for both quarterbacks, and now the Bears will have a chance. They have their 3 timeouts remaining to try to get on the board at least.
It was interesting that they decided to go with pass, 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 even though they had 1:20, and what they do best against the Bears is run.
Tom Sladany kicking from inside the 35-yard line. He's been nothing short of brilliant this year. Fisher is back. And Jeff Fisher inside his 10. And that turf has got to be harder than we'd imagine. As Johnny pointed out earlier, we've seen several players slip. A 42-yard punt, only an 8-yard return by Fisher, who goes into the game 2nd in the conference, averaging 13 yards a punt return. So that's the story with 1:14 remaining in the half. And the Bears have 3 timeouts to try to get back in this thing. Eddie Murray has kicked 3 field goals, a 24-yarder in the first quarter, 23 yards, and then a booming 49-yarder. As his magic continues into this week. This balloon didn't burst in that Dallas game, did it?
No.
Hector Gray is in as a 5th defensive back for the Lions. 1st and 10 at the 17. And Evans needs time. He has time, and it's picked off. An interception by Stan White. And Stan White gives the Lions a golden opportunity at the 15-yard line with an interception that was right in his hands. His 3rd interception of the season.
Stan White, such a smart football player. Maxie Bond lets him call the defensive signals. He says he knows what he's doing. He knows Ted Marchibroda, especially because he played for Ted Marchibroda at Baltimore, and he just watched the quarterback with his eyes. Let's watch number 8. Vince Evans goes back. White is up to the left top of your screen. You'll see him come into the picture as he's watching and watching. He goes up. The pass is not high enough, and Stan White into the zone takes the interception. Detroit has a chance to get on the board again before the halftime.
16-yard line. 1st and 10 with 1:05 to go, and the Lions have all of their timeouts remaining. And almost a fumble. Rick Kane lost control and was stopped back. Maybe a loss of a yard, maybe no gain. Doug Plank made the tackle. The clock continues to run with 50 seconds to go, and the Lions line up. They must be expert at this now. Billy Sims is in the game. He's gained 55 yards on 11 carries. Lions in no hurry. They have a lot of timeouts. They're full complement. Hipple looking for a receiver. Looking to run out of bounds, and he does with 32 seconds remaining. Chased out by Singletary. So that'll stop the clock with the ball at the 13.5. He can run. 5 touchdowns rushing for the Lions, and next to Sims, he's got the most on this Lion club. 32 seconds, John.
You may notice the black stuff on his eyes. Of course, that's to cut down the glare because it is bright here at Soldier Field. And now, obviously, the play has been set in. They have a 2nd down. I thought it should be 3rd, shouldn't it?
It should be 3rd down. Should be 3rd down. Rick Kane carried on 1st down.
They're marking 2nd down, but I think it's a 3rd down situation.
3rd and 7, we'll call it, despite the stick showing 2nd.
Blitz.
And here comes a blitz. And Hipple gets the ball off, and it's picked off. An interception by Todd Bell. And Todd Bell is at midfield. He's at the 40, and he may go all the way. Touchdown, Chicago. No penalty flags. And the Bears are back in it.
Todd Bell, the extra back. Hipple didn't get the zip on. I think he was trying to hit Billy Sims out there. There was pressure. He threw kind of a floater, and it was Todd Bell, number 25, takes it. Sims was on the ground. There was nothing he could do about it. And here was the key play. He had to get back, avoid 1 tackler, and he was able to do it. He got back. I think that was Homer Elias trying to catch it back, and that's pretty difficult. And Todd Bell takes it all the way. You can imagine those legs might have been getting a little tired right towards the end, but he got to the end zone. The Bears are back in it.
The rookie from Ohio State, Todd Bell, with his first NFL interception, 92 yards for a touchdown. John Rovetto with Bob Avellini holding, and the kick is good. And there are 16 seconds remaining in the first half, and the Bears, in stunning fashion, are back in this.
How many yards was that?
92. We'll check to see Chicago Bear records on interceptions. But Todd Bell with a big play.
And there's one thing for sure, the defense has helped keep Chicago in this game, and the defense got this touchdown, and it's now a football game. The Lions could have built up we almost had a 16-0 lead as opposed to now 9-7. So that's what one play can do.
And not to put a damper, I think the Bears really have to go to work on their offense, because the offense didn't get that 7.
No, they did not.
The Bears lead this series. Of course, last week it was Green Bay and Chicago. These Central Division rivals have been going at it for many years, and as we pointed out, that the Lions have not swept the Bears since 1973. Mark Nichols and Alvin Hall are deep as Rovetto gets set to kick off.
The Bears lead the overall series, as you saw, 54-38. And of course, there's a man sitting in the press box, Papa Bear George Hallis, who's seen every one of those games, and he must have been real frustrated up until a moment ago.
Alvin Hall is on the left. Mark Nichols to the right. 9-7 the score. The Lions, with all their points on Ed Murray's field goals and the 92-yard touchdown return by Todd Bell. Alvin Hall on the return. Penalty marker is thrown down, and there's an injured Bear getting up his own power. It's apparently against the Lions. Otis Wilson was hit, but let's see what the penalty is, as the referee Pat Haggerty will tell us.
In the middle of the back, number 51 on the return.
It is against the Lions. The longest interception return for the Chicago Bears is a man that you played with.
Richie Pettibone? Is that who it is?
Yes.
Oh, he got it. Okay. I had forgotten that, but Richie Pettibone was a great defensive back for the Bears. This is, I think, the 4th longest, we are told now, interception return for a touchdown.
Use for the hands, in the middle of the back, on the return, number 51.
James Harrell
First down.
will set the Lions back to the 15. 101 yards. Richie Pettibone in December of 1962 for a touchdown. Bulldog Turner and Roosevelt Taylor, another one of your teammates with the Bears. Benny McRae, 89 yards, so this is the 4th. 9 seconds remaining in the first half. 5 backs in there as Jeff Fisher comes in. And Billy Sims going outside is hit, and immediately good contact there by Bruce Herron as the clock wears down, and the crowd has been on the Bears today, but right now you got nothing but this. Cheers for the Bears, because they have scored with seconds remaining in the first half to narrow the gap, and the Detroit Lions leading 9-7 over the Chicago Bears. So a close, low-scoring game. The Lions' defensive front four has been awesome, and the Bears have not been able to generate any kind of an offense so far. But they had the big play of the game, and that's the end of the first half with the score. The Detroit Lions 9 and the Chicago Bears 7.
Back at the news desk in New York, I'm Brad Musburger with Irv Cross. Late word from West Lafayette, Indiana. Leon Burtnett has been named head football coach at Purdue University. He was defensive coordinator for the Boilermakers under Coach Jim Young. Young, of course, announcing his resignation last week to become an associate athletic director at that school. Now to the scoreboard to get you up to date with everything that is going on right now. The Lions 9, the Bears 7. The Lions were leading because of 3 Eddie Murray field goals. Before the Bears came back. We'll pick that storyline up for you in a minute. Look at this. Vince Evans was off right there. That interception by Hunter set up one of Murray's 3 field goals. 1, 2, 3. Irv looks
11, 12, how many? 11, I think.
Got 11. Time, right? They're all right. This was the play now that turned them around. Hipple was going in again. He threw the pass. Todd Bell picked it off. How many yards on that interception?
92 yards, a rookie out of Ohio State, 4th-round draft choice. His first interception as a pro. What a thrill.
All right, 9-7 is the count in that game. The Lions over the Bears. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay is all over Green Bay. 27-0 is the count in that game. And here is Rich Campbell playing because of an injury to David Whitehurst early in the game. Cedric Brown with the interception, 81 yards for the Buccaneer touchdown. And Irv, how about this next run by James Owens? What a hole.
Beautiful run. Well-conceived blocking pattern. Lead back does a good job, and James Owens uses his speed to sprint off tackle for the score. Makes it look easy.
Watch Doug direct traffic right here. And he's got all the time in the world from his offensive line. Unloads to Theo Bell, and again they have run up a 27-0 lead in that game at the half. Over in the AFC, Buffalo right now is ahead of the New England Patriots 13-7. That game is at the half. And homecoming down there in the Dome, and Bum is ahead 10-3 right now, and he's shaking hands with some of his former players down there in Houston, and Kenny Stabo trying to get out of the end zone, and this really turned the game around in the first half. Kenny Bordelon with the interception got to the 9-yard line, and then I think the Oilers were looking for George Rogers.
You're talking about the Bummerooski play, right? Right up the middle. Holmes, this time number 45, barrels his way upfield, 9 yards for a touchdown.
And Benny Ricardo, with time running out, nailed this 46-yard field goal, and New Orleans leading it now 10-3 at the half. Cincinnati and Denver supposed to be the closest game on the card in the AFC. It's been all Bengals, 28-7. 2 touchdowns by Pete Johnson. He now has 13 for the season. He ran in from 39 yards out, and he caught a 1-yard pass from Kenny Anderson. Pittsburgh and Cleveland, the Steelers lead at 12-10. The Steelers have missed 2 extra points in that game. The Giants and the Eagles. What a tough defensive effort, especially on the part of the Giants, who were going today with Scott Bruner because of that injury to Phil Simms. Here's Gary Shirk down to the Eagle 22-yard line, and that set up a field goal here by Joe Danilo. I think he was playing pool with this one.
Watch, hits the upright. That's 12 field goals in a row for Joe Danilo.
Then, after an interception, Keith Quepley was on the receiving end of a touchdown pass by Jaworski. They were back in it, and the Giants went ahead here as Leon Bright got up over the top, and then Tony Franklin kicked the field goal, so they're all even at the half right now at 10-all. Seattle and Kansas City, battle of the field goal specialists. Seattle struck first, but the Chiefs now have tied at Nick Lowry in the second quarter. St. Louis and Baltimore, the Cardinals have just gone ahead, 14-7. Watch Pat Tilley take the pass from the rookie, Neil Lomax, who avoids the pressure extremely well in this sequence, waits patiently, got Tilley on the move, who was freelancing, 75-yard play, and it set up the touchdown by the Cardinals. And Irv, you know who they go to down there.
Oh, boy, you have to go to the big guy, O.J. Anderson, who's having one of his best years as a pro. And he has a good year. It's a great year, Brent, believe me. Watch him power off tackle here. Otis Anderson, for a 4-yard run, glides into the end zone.
And then the trouble in Baltimore. Losers of 10 in a row. Jones and Dickey not getting along. But they got along well enough right there. Jones handing the ball to Curtis. He broke free. 36-yard touchdown run. They were back in it, but on an interception now, the Cardinals have gone ahead 14-7. And the NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
Back at Soldier Field, Chicago, the Lions, you see them huddle on the far side, leading 9-7 over the Chicago Bears. Dick Stockton and Johnny Morris. The Bears have no yards passing, and Payton has 8 yards rushing in the first half.
Not too much offense for the Chicago Bears. Really not too much for the Detroit Lions. Actually, Eric Hipple is 5 for 18. Vince Evans is 4 for 15, so the quarterbacks are not enjoying good days, but it's a close football game.
Simms has done all right.
Simms has done okay, 13 for 62 yards. Total offense now this is 131 for Detroit. Guess what the Bears have? 15 yards of total offense in the first half.
That's offensive. John Rivetta will be kicking off. Mark Nichols and Alvin Hall are deep for the Lions. Nichols to the right, Hall to the left. Alvin Hall, a free agent, cornerback. 9-7 the score. Stan White intercepted his 30th career pass. The Lions were trying to drive in for a score, and Todd Bell's first NFL interception, a 92-yard score. So the kickoff starting the second half, and Alvin Hall breaks out of a pack. and is brought down at the 35. Penalty marker down. I think we have a face mask. John Rivetto came in and made the play. I don't know if Rivetto was guilty of the face mask, but that's what it is. A 33-yard return by Alvin Hall.
That may be the first tackle that John Rivetto has made in the NFL, and he wanted to make sure he got it. He got a penalty on it, but he did stop the touchdown because could have gone all the way. It had not been for number 9, Rivetto, who reaches up high, grabs around the face mask, and brings him down.
Face mask, number 9, first down.
So right off now, the Lions are at midfield as they start things here in the second half.
The Lions have had good field position all day.
There you're looking at the comparison. Nothing to write home about for either quarterback. No touchdown passes, 3 interceptions for both of them. First and 10 at midfield. Billy Sims, number 20, who's averaged 4.8 yards per carry. On first down, trying to get outside, but good pursuit by the Bears and a loss of a couple on the play. So the Detroit Lions on offense, Fensick, by the way, made the play. They have Fred Scott, Leonard Thompson, and Mark Nichols alternating at wide receiver. Billy Sims, the running back. Eric Hipple, Dexter Bussey is the fullback. And that fine offensive line of Baldishweiler, Elias, Fowler, Bollinger, and Dorney. The Bears on defense. Going with the 4-3, a lot of times with 5 linemen and 5 defensive backs. 2nd and 11 at the 49. Hipple to throw the ball. Going outside, and wasn't even close, intended for Mark Nichols. And several Bears right around the ball. So Hipple continues to have his troubles.
There were 4 Bears around that ball, 4-on-1 coverage, and that's where Eric Hipple threw the ball. And I'm sure if he could take that one back, he wouldn't want to throw that play again. The Lions really kind of sputtering on offense, even though they're doing much better than the Bears on offense. The Bear defense, their record, as I mentioned, is 44% against pass attempts, and that's the best in the NFL, and they've showed that today as far as pass defense is concerned.
3rd and 11 at the 49 now for the Lions. Horace King replaces Bussey in the backfield for the Lions. Pressure put on Eric Hipple. Steps up, however, and drills this pass, and it was through the hands of both Reuben Henderson and Todd Bell on the pass intended for Thompson.
And Gary Fensick was also there. 2 Bears had a chance to intercept that ball as Eric Hipple just can't seem to find anybody open. Pretty good coverage down the field. He says, let me get back out there again. He's asking Norris what went wrong downfield. There were just a lot of Bears down there on coverage. You got to run sometimes against that defense.
Tom Skladany and Jeff Fisher, who ran back, punt 88 yards against Tampa Bay for a touchdown, and another one for 56 yards against the Bucks in a different game. So Skladany booting from his 33-yard line. Good kick by Tom. Fisher over near the sidelines, and it goes out of bounds inside the 15-yard line, and they will spot it at the 12. So the Bears have not had many chances of good field position this afternoon, but even when they had good field position, they weren't able to do much. A 38-yard punt, no return, and that's what the coaches like to see.
On Thanksgiving.
And there's a lot more coming up that we'll explain to you after this first play on our Thanksgiving Day CBS telecast. 1st and 10 on the 13-yard line for the Bears. Out of the I formation. And Walter Payton up the middle. He has gained 8 yards and maybe 2 more. Well, the NFL today will have a profile of one of the star Dallas Cowboy players that you'll be seeing Thursday.
Charlie Waters.
Leader of the Dallas secondary. Playing hurt this year, huh?
Yes, he is, but he does a great job, and we'll have a chance to see if they're going to have a Super Bowl year. Also, we're going to look at a couple of high schools.
That's right, a big rivalry. Needham and Wellesley High Schools in Massachusetts. Their 99th meeting. That'll be Thursday, Thanksgiving Day on CBS. 2nd and 8 at the 14-yard line. Penalty marker down. The Lions move. Penalty and a fumble. The Lions may have picked up a loose ball, but they may have been guilty as well. Gary Cobb recovered the fumble. Payton lost it, but there was a penalty marker down. Cobb doesn't want to give that ball up.
Well, the Lions were obviously offsides. Of course, the question always is, was he pulled off? And he was not. So I would imagine that the Bears will take this penalty, wouldn't you?
You don't want to wait for the official now. They're going to take the penalty and hold on to the ball.
offside. Defense.
That's about 4 offside penalties for the Lions today.
2nd and 3 at the 19 now.
You have to wonder if Vince Evans has developed some kind of a technique to draw these guys off sides.
Bashnagel toward the line, and Payton is dropped. A loss on the play. It'll be 3rd and short. Whatever the Lions are doing to stop Walter Payton, they ought to bottle it.
He is getting hit before he even gets to the line of scrimmage, and that means your blocking is really breaking down somewhere. Of course, the Lions are tough against the run. They have been all year.
Watts is wide to the right. Marjoram, 89, as Walter Payton having his problems today. Hector Gray, number 26, is in as a nickel back for the Lions. 3rd and 4 on the 18. And Payton going outside. Finally gets something going and has a 1st down for the Bears at the 26-yard line. Walter Payton finally sees some daylight, and Jimmy Allen makes the stop.
Walter is telling the crowd, give us a little cheer. We got a 1st down. He almost broke that. Walter Payton starting his 97th consecutive games, and that's a lot for a running back.
And only the 2nd 1st down for the Bears, John.
That's why he was raising his hand, saying, come on. He was almost doing it derisively.
1st and 10, 27. Payton again. He's hit. Actually, I believe he ran into his own blocker. Lost a yard. Dave Purifoy, number 75. And if he did that, that's good work by the Lions defensive line. Dave Purifoy. He's been around a while, and he looks like he's shaken up.
He may have sprained his ankle. Look at this one. New Orleans and Houston 10-10 in the 3rd quarter. Bum Phillips' team still hanging in there with the Oilers.
Yeah, I think Bum would rather win that game than maybe any other game on his schedule. He's already beaten the Lions twice. Detroit Lions defensively have done pretty well, except against the pass. And with the 30 sacks you talked about and a few today, the secondary has been under scrutiny. But it's 2nd and 11. Vince Evans pass to Marjoram. Was he in bounds? He was not, apparently. Or was he?
One official called him inbounds. The other official called him out.
Ray Oldham defending, and apparently it's a completed pass. An official is sticking at that 43-yard line as they confer. Looked to me that he might have been running on the white chalk, but let's wait.
Either way, it was a pretty good play by Marjoram. He beat the zone.
All we have is a loss of down. The man went out of bounds, came back in and touched the ball. Just loss of down.
You cannot go out and then come back in and be eligible. So Marjoram has stepped out. The rookie from Stanford will read the rule book, and that's that.
That's correct. On offense, if you go out of bounds and come back in to catch it, it's a dead play. But a defensive player can go out of bounds, come back, and make the tackle. So there's an advantage for the defense when it comes to that rule. It looks like he even caught the ball. It looked like one foot was on the white part. The white part is out of bounds as Olin came over to put the hit on Marjoram.
Brooks Williams, number 83, is in at tight end. And Hector Gray, number 26, is a nickel back for the Lions. 3rd and 11. Evans going up top. And I'll tell you one thing. Wayne Smith was neck and neck with Brooks Williams. And Wayne Smith, who really has been burned but played a good game against Dallas, step for step for the tight end.
Bear fans are booing, but there was no penalty on that. Wayne Smith was running stride for stride. They had a little contact, but both were running for the ball.
Now, if Wayne Smith had waved his arms, that might have been a face guarding call, even though he had his back to the play. So it's 4th down, and Parsons in to punt again at the 11. Robbie Martin at the 35, and any kind of a run back could give the Lions good field position. Lions lead the Bears 9-7, and a booming punt by Parsons sends Rob Martin back at the 25. I like his savvy as a punt returner. As he pointed out before when he picked up a bouncing ball, he is very intelligent on his returns.
He certainly is, and he got a few yards that time as the Bears didn't get down the field too well. The score, 9-7 Detroit. Will be back.
This is Dick Stockton and Johnny Morris here at Soldier Field, Chicago, in a game that has not been dominated by the offense, John.
No, it has not. We'll see what happens on this series.
Lions at their 40, 1st and 10. Dexter Bussey. Boy, he hits that hole in a hurry. And poor tackling by the Bears enables Bussey to get a first down into Chicago territory. Mike Singletary finally made the play.
And a great block by Billy Sims. You know, they're usually blocking for him. This time he returned the favor for Dexter Bussey through a good block on Gary Campbell. Watch the lead back, number 20, Billy Sims. He'll be at the right. You might not pick it up until you see Campbell sprawling right there. There was the block. There's Carl Balderschweiler taking number 90, Al Harris, out of the play, and then Bussey turned up the field.
Bussey, 6 carries, 29 yards, but now it's Billy Sims' turn, and Sims finds some open field, and a fine shoe-saving tackle by Gary Fensick prevented Sims from getting more, but he has another first down for the Lions at the 37-yard line. But it was Billy Sims with Fensick making the play, and a first down Detroit.
And that was a gaping hole for Sims. Good blocking by the Lions offensive line that time, and that's 2 good runs in a row, and they're down in Bear territory. As we look at the Buffalo-New England score, 13-10. Kansas City and Seattle tied in the second quarter.
Sims now 72 yards on 15 carries. First and 10 at the 37 for Eric Hipple, who has struggled in the passing department. He doesn't need to pass if Billy Sims can gain yardage, but he had nowhere to go. Otis Wilson. And I think with Singletary and Wilson, the Bears are pretty well set at linebacker.
They're both learning, and learning fast now. Both of them had some problems. Otis's first year was still learning the system. It's a complicated defense the Bears use. Mike Singletary was on the bench the first half of the season and starting to kind of get the feel, because a middle linebacker spot in any system is very, very difficult. And he's starting to adjust well.
Mark Nichols wide left, Scott to the right. Second and 10 at the 37. Under 9 minutes to play, third quarter. 9-7. The Lions lead the Bears. Bussey tripped up at the 35. So it'll be third and long yardage, and Alan Page made the trip.
And give some credit to Singletary. He made some penetration, came over Homer Elias, and forced the runner to run, to adjust a little bit, and that caused the play to break down.
Page in his 15th and last year in the NFL, and Osborne in his 9th year. That's 24 years between them. So 5 defensive backs in there for the Bears. Third and 7 at the 37. To 7 Lions lead.
Blitz.
Show a blitz, and here they come. Hipple's pass. He gets it off to Horace King, but a good tackle by Doug Plank prevented any more of a gain, and it'll be fourth down.
Plank was very close to getting a penalty that time because he tackled King and then gave him a little twist as he went down, and he was afraid when he got up. He thought he may be called for a penalty. Let's take a look. The blitz was on. Hipple was forced to throw the ball before he wanted to. You see 51 coming. Dan Hampton was on the rush, and here comes the tackle by Plank, and then he'll take him and give him a twist around and then stand up and grab in his legs, and he was a little afraid there that he might get a call. He did not, and it's going to be a field goal attempt.
Well, guess who's in? Eddie Murray, 3 for 3. His longest was 47. This is a 51-yard attempt by Murray. It's a fake. It's a fake, and Eric Hipple is running for the first down. He has it. Hipple inside the 20 and almost to the 15-yard line. So the Lions will do it all the time, and there's an injured Lion down, I think. Eddie Murray slow getting up, and apparently he says he's all right, as he's a little shaky out there as he was hit coming in, and Eric Hipple has run for a Lion first down on a punting or a field goal attempt.
They always do it. They always come up with something special. That was a beautiful play as Hipple had the option of throwing downfield to Cobb or running. Of course, everybody hopes that Eddie Murray is not hurt. I don't know who would kick for them. If who's their backup kicker? I guess with Skladany would probably have to do it. But the Lions have a first down at the 16-yard line on another trick play.
First and 10 at the 16. Jim Osborne stops Bussey.
And Gary Fensick also in on that tackle. He was up on the line of scrimmage. He saw that formation and came right across the line of scrimmage. The Bear defense now with their backs against the wall. 17-10, New Orleans, and Bum Phillips ahead of Houston in the third quarter. Houston had a record of 5-6 going in. New Orleans of course, 3-8 in the NFC Western Division. Look at Pittsburgh, 18-10 over Cleveland in the third quarter.
I could just about knock Cleveland out of any of their slim hopes in the AFC Central. 2nd and 10 at the 16-yard line. Hipple falls down, a fumble. The Bears recover inside the 20. Otis Wilson has played an outstanding game, and it comes off the field with the ball he recovered.
They went back with that fancy option play with Hipple running down the line of scrimmage, and then he slipped on the turf as Sims faked one way, and he's out there for the pitch. Hipple decided not to pitch it. Then he slipped, his elbow hit the ground, and the ball squirted out, and the Bears were all over it. Chicago's football.
And let's see what the Bears can generate on offense. They have been kind of dry in that department, as we'll find out soon. Second-year linebacker Otis Wilson from Louisville with 2 fumble recoveries for the Bears, but they've got to do something when they have the ball, and it's 1st and 10 as the turnover story. Explicit right there. 1st and 10 at the 19. Baschnagel, number 84, wide to the left. And Walter Payton trying to go up the middle for yardage. Al Baker makes the stop. Payton so far 17 yards on the afternoon, and Al Baker the tackle.
Payton out of the I formation. He follows Suhey, cuts back. Good block by Emmanuel Zanders, number 79, and it was Bubba Baker coming from the other side to make the tackle.
Gain of 8, 2nd and 2, as you see what the Bears look upon when they get to the line of scrimmage. Al Baker in motion is Marjoram. Walter Payton again has the first down beyond the 30. There's a flag as well. So the Bears deciding to go Payton and going right up the breadbasket midsection, but that'll be nullified with a holding call against the Bears. So just when they seem to get some momentum going on their ground attack, they're hit with a holding call.
That will put them into a more of a passing situation, and that has not gone well. They still, I don't know if they have any yards yet in passing, do they?
I don't think so.
Holding, 65, offense.
Noah Jackson, the left guard, holding. So it's now 2nd and 11 at the 27. Jackson obviously perturbed at that call. So the Bears back on their 18-yard line. Ricky Watts wide to the right, Baschnagel to the left. Evans has had a rough day throwing. Not all of it his doing. He's got time there, and he drills this pass incomplete, intended for Ricky Watts. Defending on the play is Wayne Smith. Well, the Saints took the lead, as we told you, and for an NFL Today report, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Dick, here's the touchdown that put him ahead. Jack Holmes. Houston argued that he did not break the plane. Watch now his hands, particularly the left one. It'll come in just across the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans, 17-10. Let's go back to you in Chicago.
All right, Brent, we'll be watching that St. Houston battle there as Baschnagel comes in along with Watts and Marjoram, 3 wide receivers on 3rd and 11 at the 18 for the Bears. And Marjoram toward the line. Hector Gray is a nickel back, and Evans going for Marjoram, who's double covered and almost intercepted by James Hunter. And Hunter, remember, early in the game picked off one. James Hunter almost made the interception.
Into the double coverage, you're going to see Marjoram, and there's Baschnagel, who will go across the field. Marjoram comes back here toward the corner, and the pass is a little bit short there for Hunter. Got his hands on it, and it was a double coverage. Very tough to complete that pass into that coverage.
Bob Parsons in to kick. Inside is 5. Robbie Martin at the 45. Been a busy day for Bob Parsons. Low spiral. Martin. Nothing. As he's ridden out of bounds by a succession of blue-shirted Bears.
He's like a bowling ball, wasn't he? And they're going to call a penalty, a late hit.
A late hit. There were 3 of them there. And Willie McClendon was the last man to hit him. And it might be on the Bears' backup fullback. Or halfback, we should say. He played for Payton when Waller was out. in the Kansas City game, and so Pat Haggerty will mark it off. So the Lions are going to get good field position again, but field position hasn't meant much today.
No, it hasn't. Not for them. Actually, the Lions, if they go back and review the game films up to this point, they should have a big lead, or they could have a very big lead, and they've blown several opportunities.
No. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Hit out of bounds. Number 57, first down.
Well, they call that on Lee Coons. Let's pick it up at the sideline.
See, they're outside of the white. They're quite a ways out, and since he was so far out, the penalty should have been on McClendon.
I don't see Lee Coons anywhere near that. Tampa Bay will go 6-6 and hurt Green Bay's wild card chances.
27 zip fourth quarter. Kansas City leads Seattle 13-6 third quarter.
So the Lions have a 1st and 10 on the Bears 38. As Johnny said, a lot of opportunities have gone by the wayside. Bears defense has played good, but the Bears offense, well, can't find it. Hipple's first toss to Ulysses Norris is dropped. We've had a lot of that today too. Drop passes. That was strictly an incomplete play. Gary Fensick defending, but Norris was there and should have had the ball.
You may notice he only has one glove on, and most of the receivers have 2 gloves on. I know it is cold, but the gloves should nullify that. There shouldn't be so many drop passes, at least because of the cold weather. Look at that. 6 for 22. That's probably the worst stats Eric Hipple has had since he's been an NFL starter.
And on the season, he's got 9 TDs and now 10 interceptions. And, of course, the 10th one was a Todd Bell 92-yard return for the Bears touchdown. 2nd and 10 at the 38 now. 5:08 remaining third quarter. And Billy Sims is hit hard. Dan Hampton provided the big sock. So Hampton from Arkansas has had his knee problems this year. Hit Sims, who goes back to the line. He was out 2 games, as John mentioned, with toe turf this year. And the Lions won both of those games, one of them, of course, against the Bears.
Billy Sims is one of 6 former Heisman Trophy winners to play for Detroit. Can you name the others?
2nd and 8 at the 36. Monty Clark, fine offensive lineman.
No, he came close,
me?
but he didn't quite make it. There's Monty Clark.
How about Leon Hart?
Huh?
Doak Walker?
Yeah, Doak Walker was one.
I remember him. 2nd and 8, and Hipple up the middle. And a hard hit and a completion, and as a completion by Horace King. The Bears say no catch. I don't know how they can say that. Looked like a pretty good one by King. And if so, it's a first down. But wait, penalty flag back at the line of scrimmage. Pat?
Personal foul, number 70.
Keith Dorney, who has emerged as the top offensive lineman for the Lions. A penalty there, nullifying what would have been a Detroit first down.
Well, Keith Dorney doesn't get too many penalties. He's pointing to himself. Was it me? Was it me? He feels he didn't do anything all that wrong.
Dorney played a fine game against Too Tall Jones, kept him away last week, and plays the tough lineman, but Dorney's the guilty party.
Personal foul, number 70, offense.
So that changes the complexion as we see what number 70 did here. The lower
there he is, the second man in as he drops off for his block. He's waiting for Al Harris, who does not come. You see number 90 goes back. Now here comes Jim Osborne on the double team with Bollinger, and he hits him high in the face with his hands. You cannot do that. It has to be between the shoulders and the knees.
2nd and 23 now. The Lions back in their own territory. 5 defensive backs, the nickel for the Bears. 2nd and 23 at the 49. Hipple is going up top for Scott, and Scott makes the catch at the 10-yard line. Schmidt defending, and Freddie Scott, who's leading the Lions in pass receiving, with a big play.
A perfect pass by Eric Hipple, and he had protection this time, went forward in the pocket to get the pass off. Notice there is not a big rush. Finally, Osborne comes from the outside. He just throws it up, and Scott had a step on Terry Schmidt, and the pass was right on the dime. Great catch, and they're down to the 5-yard line. First down, Detroit Lions.
A 46-yard pass play, Hipple to Scott. And Freddie Scott, originally with the Baltimore Colts, was a 7th-round draft choice in his 4th year with the Lions from Amherst. Not many players out of that small Western Massachusetts school, but Scott with 2 receptions on the year, and that gives him 40 on the season. Vince Thompson, number 38, is in now at fullback. 1st and goal at the 6 for the Lions. Hipple carries, Dives in. Touchdown. Touchdown Lions. And Eric Hipple on another college play as he faked the pitch out and went in for the touchdown.
Boy, a super play by Hipple, because it looked like he was going to come down at about the 2, and he took that last little stretch leap out there and got that ball up and over the goal line. Let's take a look at how he did it. On the old option, he has Sims out there, the threat of Billy Sims. Good blocking out there. And then here it is. He didn't go down. His knee did not go down, and he leaped out, got the ball up over the goal line. Good play by Eric Hipple.
So Murray will attempt the conversion with Hipple holding. Sims leading the NFC with 10 touchdown rushing, and Hipple is second on the Lions now with 6. So on Eric Hipple's 6th touchdown rush of the season, the Lions have opened up a 16-7 lead with their first touchdown of the game, and it was Hipple.
Let's take a look at it low angle right into the camera. Vince Thompson is out in front. He's number 38. They string Al Harris out, number 90, with a double block, and that was the key, as Plank had to cover Sims out there because he was afraid he was going to maybe pitch. And then here comes the super extra effort. His knee did not touch the turf, and then he took the leap into the goal line, and that was just a super play for Eric Hipple.
He is such a confident performer. I mean, he really doesn't look to dump balls off. He wants to get up on top. Aggressive. He's got the strong arm. He can run. Murray kicking to Emery Woodhead. 3:29 remaining third quarter.
You're close. Moorhead.
20-yard line.
There we go.
To the 33. Terry Totolo makes the tackle as you look at the Lions scoring drive. Big play, though, was Hipple's 46-yard pass to Fred Scott that set up the touchdown. 14-yard return. Bears still do not have a yard passing. If you look at net yards with sacks and everything, 0.
That's hard to believe in this day and age of the National Football League with everything opened up for the passing game.
First and 10 at the 34 for the Bears. Trailing now 16-7, so they need a couple of scores. And Evans going immediately up top. And that pass is just overthrown, intended for Baschnagel, and covering on the play was Wayne Smith, the left cornerback, and a flag down. There might have been a roughing the passer call. Al Baker is the only Lion, and now the other Lions say get away from him.
Yes, Vince Evans is down, and he took a real shot, and I think that's what the penalty is going to be. He seems to be in quite a bit of pain. That means Bob Avellini would come in if he cannot continue.
And Avellini is warming up on the sidelines right now. For several years, it was Avellini.
Wait a minute. I think you just got him. I got him.
They got that microphone on.
What?
Exploit him, and he lowered his head, then you got to throw him.
Okay.
If he, the bang-bang thing now.
Okay, I'm going to throw his ass out.
We're hearing a little extraneous conversation between some of the players and the officials. You don't normally get to hear this.
33 and a half. 33 and a half. We're going to go here to 33 and a half. No.
Well, he just turned the mic off. He had the mic on.
He had the mic on, did not know it, and he just switched the opposite way. But Vince Evans is up and okay. And the fans give him the cheer as he comes off the field. And Bob Avellini is on the field for the Chicago Bears, the quarterback that they used to love to boo.
So Avellini is in there. He has thrown 15 passes, completed 9 for 81 yards, 1 interception. Obviously has not seen much action this year, and it used to be the question, who's going to be the quarterback, Evans, Mike Phipps, or Avellini? And there is Avellini in there now. That is his career average. Those that liked Avellini.
He was a starting quarterback for 2 or 3 years when the Bears were building a line, and a defensive line and an offensive line, when they didn't have the personnel that they have right now.
Baker's been thrown out of the game. Well, Baker's been tossed out. And I guess the official can do it if they feel it's flagrant enough.
Yes, they did it to William Gay a few weeks ago when he hit Lynn Dickey at the Pontiac Silverdome a few weeks ago. So Bubba Baker is out of the game. This is the second time this has happened to the Lions that I know of, and Baker is trying to explain his side of the situation. Maybe we'll get a chance to look at it.
All right.
We're going to look at it in very slow motion. Bubba Baker is number 60. Whoops, we're back to live action.
Payton gets up to the 45-yard line. A good carry off right tackle. Gary Cobb makes the tackle on Payton, so the Bears have an opportunity here.
Okay, watch from the left side of your screen. I think he comes into the inside, and then Evans throws the ball. Here comes the hit at the lower left of your screen. You just got a little view of it, but definitely you could see the ball was gone, and there was no way that Baker could not see that the ball was gone.
Gain of 6, 2nd and 4 at the 45. 2:40 remaining, third quarter. Bears looking to get another score here to keep it going, and Waller this time gets to the 45-yard line, back to the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 3rd and short, 3rd and 4 for the Bears, as Waller Payton getting the call a lot more in this second half. He's now carried 11 times for 33.
And Brian Baschnagel has come back on the field with a play for Avellini being sent in from Ted Marchibrodo. So we have a more than likely, well, it's 3rd and 3. It's a run or pass situation.
At the 45. Avellini with his first pass. It's batted down by Stan White, who intercepted earlier. Pass intended for Ricky Watts. So Stan White, who intercepted a pass, his 30th career interception, to set up the Lions, only to see Todd Bell return another interception for a touchdown, broke it up.
He is so smart. He went for that short out zone right away. As soon as he saw Avellini take the 1-2 steps and fire, he just went right for that zone. He knew it was going to be that short pop pass to the wide receiver, and he batted the ball down.
Parsons from his 40, so good field position did not help the Bears one bit. 4th and 4. Robbie Martin at the 10. Parsons looking for the sideline, and a good roll for the Bears, and it's going to be knocked away by Baschnagel inside the 5. This is like an old Southeast Conference field position game that LSU and Ole Miss used to play.
Well, this is the first time that Detroit has not had good field position in a long time. They have usually get the ball at the 40 or 50-yard line. Now this time they're going to be tested. They'll be back at their own 2.5-yard line, first down.
Vince Evans on the sideline recovering from that hit. We'll see whether he gets back in there. By the way, a 42-yard punt by Parsons, who is the best in the NFC and kicks inside the 20, and you saw an example of that right there. But the Lions have it on the 2. 1st and 10. Scott 87, wide right. Leonard Thompson split to the left. And Vince Thompson is hit in the end zone. And is it a safety or not? No, he got out to the 1.
Got out to the 1. They went with a slant play. I'll tell you what was so open that time was a quarterback sneak by Hipple. They were an even defense, and Hipple could have gone right off the right shoulder right there and gotten 2 or 3 yards straight ahead there. But they went with the handoff. The Bears smelled it out, and Mike Singletary, number 50, made the hit at the 1-yard line.
Vince Thompson, who won a job in what they call the Gong Show, a free agent tryout, 2nd and 11 at the 1. An opportunity for the Bears defense right here. Hipple looking to throw, and his pass is complete to Scott. Out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Terry Schmidt making the hit. It gives the Lions some breathing room, but they have to get to the 12.5-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 6 for the Lions.
That was a pretty good call, wasn't it? Pretty gutsy play on your own half-yard line. He goes back, throws that ball, and as you said, gave him a little bit of room. And as the Bears come in with their alternate defenses, Herron comes in, Todd Bell, Jeff Fisher. They have 6 defensive backs in there now.
And Hipple calls his own number and is hit at the line. That was not a misplay. That was Hipple's play, and Al Harris with a brilliant hit on Eric Hipple. But can the Bears take advantage? That's the big question here.
a little quarterback draw. Of course, the key block has to be by Fowler, who is the center. Let's watch how the center does. Obviously, Harris gets in there and jams up the play as Alan Page comes across, got by Fowler before he could make a move, and then Harris came from the outside and made the tackle.
Skladany will be kicking from a yard inside the end zone. Inside the back of the end zone, I should say. And Jeff Fisher, and a great kick by Skladany. Fisher letting the ball bounce at the 40-yard line, and it takes a Detroit roll past midfield to the 48 and still going. So the Bears, with no return, will take the ball in fairly good field position, but it could have been better. Next Sunday, NFL football, Green Bay at Minnesota, as the Packers, getting whomped today by Tampa Bay, will try to upset the Minnesota apple cart. And the second game, Atlanta and Houston, interconference battle, John.
Okay, here's a look at that play from ground level. Alan Page got across to penetrate, and then Harris, number 90, came down the line to make the tackle, and the Bears had the Lions in trouble.
1st and 10 at the 47 now. Avellini on a play action, being chased, and his pass for Baschnagel is overthrown. Double coverage on a very unusual passing pattern with the quarterback going right and throwing left. Marjoram comes in with the play from Ted Marchibroda. So Atlanta and Houston, the Falcons, a disappointment, but in the wild card chase against the Oilers, who are tested by New Orleans. The second game of our doubleheader. Tampa Bay at Minnesota, and it all begins with the NFL today. 2nd and 10 at the 47. Hector Gray, nickel back for the Lions. 24 seconds to go, third quarter, and the pass complete to Matt Suhey at the 49-yard line of Detroit. It'll be 3rd and a good 6 as the clock runs down.
We had a penalty flag down on the field, too. You know, on the NFL today, next weekend that you were talking about, you're going to see all those top college prospects for the NFL draft.
Some teams are starting to think along the lines of who may be out there to help them for next season. So that is the gun, ending the third quarter with the score. Lions 16, the Bears 7. We now pause for a word from your local station. Dick Stockton and Johnny Morris as we get set for the fourth quarter here in Chicago. Bears on a 3rd and 6 on the Lions 49. Lions leading 16-7. A touchdown and 3 Ed Murray field goals. Avellini in relief of Evans, who is knocked out of the game.
Here they come.
Here comes a blitz, and the pass is caught by Ricky Watts. Ricky Watts with the reception at the 34-yard line.
He made sure of that one, didn't he? He cradled that ball in. It was low. He did make the grab. The Lions were signaling incomplete, but I think he did make the grab. Plenty of room here. No linebackers in front. Here comes the ball. He gets down on his knees and scoops that ball in, and it was a reception.
A 16-yard pickup for Watts. 1st and 10 at the 34 for the Bears, who have not managed to score offensively today. And as far as the passing yardage, I think that's only the second one that's gone in their column, as Walter Payton fights hard and claws hard to get close to the 30-yard line. He picked up 2. Watts so far has caught 2 passes for 26 yards.
Michael Cobb is also in at the tight end spot. He's getting some playing time for Robin Earl, number 87.
Clear day in Chicago as you look at the skyline. And a cold day. Sub-freezing temperatures. We started at 25 degrees. 2nd and 7 at the 31. Opening moments here of the 4th and final quarter. Flip it out to Payton. Couldn't hold on to it. It's incomplete. Keep in mind the Lions have yet to win on the road this year. They have not lost at home, but they haven't won on the road. And Payton, who's had a struggle this afternoon, trying to lead the Bears to an upset win. Bears 3-8.
The Lions sticking with their 4-man rush. Then they throw in a few blitzes once in a while, but they don't give you much in the way of odd defenses as far as odd alignment. And those 4 men are usually able to put pretty good pressure. They have 30 sacks. So now here's a big play for the Lions defense. If they can stop the Bears this time, Detroit will be in good shape.
3rd down and 7 at the 31. Even though it's early, it's a big third down play for the Bears, who have really had a lot of trouble on third down. But it's the same old story. The Detroit Lions are just too much, no matter who the quarterback is. Steve Furness, Doug English are both in there.
And I think it was Furness who really put the first hit on.
Right.
As he'll come. Watch number 71. He goes to the outside all the way around the tackle. They did a little twist, and Furness got there slick and clean. Avellini was a dead duck, and the Bears don't even get a field goal try. They've got a punt.
4th sack of the game for the Lions.
The Lions are expecting something funny because the Bears have already tried a fake punt.
Robbie Martin, but it'll be nothing funny as the punt headed, bounces at the 5 and goes out of bounds. Goes out of bounds, I believe, on the 1-yard line. Well, I'll tell you one thing. You can't argue with A, Chicago's defense, B, Bob Parsons' coffin corner kicking. They're stopping the Lions, but it's the problem when they have the ball.
That was an unbelievable punt. That ball had eyes, you might say. 39 yards.
Keep in mind, both these teams will be playing Thanksgiving Day. Lions will go against Kansas City, and the Chicago Bears will be facing the Dallas Cowboys on CBS.
And the Lions have to be careful. Last time on the one, they tried that slant, and they almost got a safety. Let's see if they go straight ahead.
Vince Thompson is the fullback, number 38, with Sims the running back, 1st and 10. And it's Thompson who gets some running room and barrels out of bounds. Good hard running. Reuben Henderson drove Thompson out of bounds at the 6-yard line, and that was a good game.
Yes, he went straight in and then dipped to the outside, got around the horn. He made the team on the Gong Show. As you know, he was cut by a couple of teams before the Lions picked him up as a free agent, and he's done a good job. Now watch Thompson go straight forward in, and then he dips outside of Billy Sims, who throws a block, number 20 there on his block there, and they got around the horn and got out of the hole, and they have a little bit of breathing room before finally Henderson knocks Thompson out of bounds.
2nd and 4 at the 7. Sims outside. Billy has a 1st down. So the Bears cannot keep the Lions hemmed in, and some good offensive blocking by Russ Bollinger.
Yes, Russ Bollinger, number 73, pulled out in front of Sims as Sims is getting up a little bit slow, but it looks like he's okay. But Bollinger did a nice job pulling out of his guard spot and leading the way and kicking the defense out so that Sims could turn up the field.
You know, Billy last year in his rookie year didn't pace himself, he had said. You know, first time in a long football season of 16 games, and he is better paced this year. He missed 2 games and has come back hungrier than ever, as you see the rushing comparison between Sims and Walter Payton, who is having one of his low productivity days. Rick Kane, number 32, and Dexter Bussey are in there now, and that pass intended for Kane is incomplete off his hands. So Billy Sims got a breather and remains on the sideline. It'll be 2nd and 10. That's what Hipple has done. Tough day for Eric, but the Lions on those 3 field goals. And Hipple's touchdown as Sims stays out for the 2nd down. Leonard Thompson, number 39, comes in at wide receiver as Monty Clark has moved along the 3. 5 backs in this 5 nickel back arrangement for the Bears. 2nd and 10 at the 14. Hipple dumps it off.
Oh.
Rick Kane has a 1st down to the 30-yard line and to the 33, and a penalty flag. Al Harris made the tackle all the way downfield, but we'll see what the penalty is. Keep in mind the drive started at the 1.
The Bears went into their 5-man rush that time and had Hampton inside. They jammed everybody up, so the screen worked to the outside. Let's check the penalty.
Illegal use of the hands in the middle of the back. Offense.
Tough call against the Lions. They had moved it out from the 1 beyond the 30, and that'll be called back.
It was very interesting that time on that play. If we see it again, Kane really outran his blockers that time. He had blockers in front of him, but he took off for the sidelines and left them behind almost and wasn't able to take the best use of his blockers.
Monty Clark, who said he worked with his offensive linemen last couple of years, and now that they have the technique down with Fred Hoagland, who he brought in.
Tough man.
Mark Nichols will bring in the next play for the Lions. 2nd and 1. Lions expect big things of Nichols from San Jose State, and pretty big at 6'2", 213.
Now they've taken Hartenstein off the Bears and brought Campbell back in. They're a little bit confused there for a moment.
Rick Kane tripped up from behind. His forward motion might have gotten the first down. Dan Hampton tried to grab him from behind. They're awfully close to it. And let's see what they spotted. Well, next Saturday, the premiere of NCAA basketball on CBS as the Michigan Wolverines face the Razorbacks of Arkansas. Live from Fayetteville, Arkansas, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central, as we start our coverage of NCAA basketball, continuing all the way through the NCAA championship in March, to be held at the Superdome in New Orleans. First down Lions.
Well, it's kind of good to see basketball on CBS, isn't it? College basketball.
Sure is. See some of the great players. North Carolina goes in as #1 in the preseason polls. Snow pigeon.
That's a Chicago turkey.
First and 10 at the 24 now. And breaking the tackle is Vince Thompson as he gets another first down to the 35.
The Lions are starting to assert themselves with this running game, and Vince Thompson doing a nice job. I think you're going to see more and more of him into this Lions offense. He's going to getting a chance to play now because of Sims' slight injury, but he cuts back here as a cut back behind Homer Elias, who seemed to kind of clog things up, breaks a couple of tackles, puts his shoulder down, and he's got some muscle. I mean, he's a heavy-duty type back who can move pretty well for a big man.
Billy Sims returns to the game for the Lions. First and 10 at the 37. And Thompson was tripped up behind the line of scrimmage.
Mike Singletary came blitzing through there and found a gap and got there before Vince Thompson could turn up the field. Good play by Singletary, number 50.
And Otis Wilson helped out as well. There is Mike Singletary from Baylor, who has made a reputation on some hard hits. Ideal middle linebacker who's learning, 2nd-round draft choice from Baylor. 10 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. The Lions lead the Bears 16-7. And the Lions have a 2nd and 12 at the 35. They started on their 1-yard line. Vince Thompson has played a big role in this drive. And Hipple's pass headed for Scott. Incomplete. Coverage there by Doug Plank and Reuben Henderson. So it'll be 3rd down for Eric Hipple, who's had a very poor day statistically. In fact, the best thing he's done was that touchdown run himself.
Yes, that time he just overthrew his receiver, and a lot of times when a quarterback overthrows a receiver, it isn't always that he just misfired, but a lot of times there's a rush and somebody's in front of him, you know, and big high hands, and you throw a little bit higher than you normally would want to because of the pass rush penetration.
Lions, a little better 3rd down conversion than the Bears. Horace King is in at fullback, 3rd and 12. Hipple running out of the pocket, and Eric Hipple is short of a first down as he is tackled at the 43-yard line by Gary Fensick, and that will be good enough for the Bears to force the Lions to punt. The offensive line of the Lions, such a very important part of their team this year.
They sent both backs out that time, a 4-man rush for the Bears, and you can see Hipple with that great instinct. He just went forward in the pocket and then took off, was trying to get to that first down marker, but you're going to see a good tackle by Gary Fensick right here on the fly to bring Hipple down with help from Jeff Fisher. The Lions will punt.
Skladany will kick. Fensick, by the way, has 9 tackles on the afternoon, and as we mentioned many times, having a superb year. Jeff Fisher on the line drive lets the ball go, and it goes into the end zone for a touchback. So once again, the Bears are going to see what they can do on attack. They have come up empty. 9 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter, and the Bears trail the Lions 16-7. Well, the Bears have the ball on the 20-yard line. Vince Evans was knocked out of the game by Al Baker on a roughing the passer call. Baker was thrown out of the game. Evans 4 for 18 for 21 yards and 2 interceptions, but he can come back. Bob Avellini is in there and has been in there since the end of the 3rd quarter. 1st and 10 at the 20 for Chicago. Waller Payton cutting inside, fighting his way, and another flag. We have a lot of flags after the plays have been underway inside. Ken Fantetti, the middle linebacker, and a hard hitter.
He was the leading tackler for the Lions coming into this game with 107 tackles. We have a holding penalty against the Bears that's going to nullify that run.
Every time the Bears generate anything, I remember Payton had 2 carries and a first down. There was a penalty earlier in the third quarter. Once again, they stubbed their toe, as we'll hear from Pat Haggerty.
Holding, number 52, offense.
Center Dan Neal. Payton has 12 carries for 36 yards.
Now the difference between Avellini and Evans is significant in the terms of speed or ability to get out of a pass rush, and you have to consider that when you talk about the nature of the type of throws that you're going to have in this situation.
1st and 20 at the 10-yard line. Bob Avellini in for Vince Evans, and Avellini's throw almost intercepted by Gary Cobb, the linebacker, intended for Ricky Watts, but it wasn't close to it.
Good heads-up play by number 53, Gary Cobb. He watched the quarterback, dropped off in his zone, and then floated towards the middle as he saw the receiver who had gone downfield and cut towards the middle. And that's what a linebacker is supposed to do. If you're going back to the outside zone and you see somebody cuts across the field and there's nobody coming to your zone, you just start floating across the middle and try and pick something off.
Avellini, the line, 2nd and 20 at the 10. Six defensive backs in there for the Lions. 6 backs for the Lions, and a good rush on Avellini, who's going up top of Baschnagel, and it's overthrown and incomplete. Walter Payton was not Baschnagel. Check that. Payton was the receiver, but it was overthrown, and Luther Bradley, among others, was defending on the play. The Lions have been outstanding in their pass defense in the secondary, and that's been a weak point.
Yes, it has. So that says a lot for a great improvement for the Lions defensive backfield, or not too much for the Bears pass offense. It's probably a combination of both. The Giants lead Philadelphia 13-10 in the 4th quarter. And one thing the Bears did do that time, they tried to get Payton down deep for a pass reception.
New Orleans surprising Houston. 3rd and 20 at the 10. Marjoram toward the line. We have 3 wide receivers, and Avellini is just stopped. Doug English got a hand on Avellini, and that was that. And that is the 5th sack of the game for the Detroit Lions, who came in with 30.
No quarterback could have gotten out of that one because the pocket just caved in on him. Avellini went back his normal 7-yard setup, and all of a sudden you're going to see the white jerseys just converge, and there were too many of them. Nobody could have gotten out of that one.
Terrific pass rush by the Lions today. The Bears haven't been able to generate anything, although some of the receivers dropped some good passes early, as Parsons will kick from the end of the end zone.
His heel is about an inch from the end line.
Robbie Martin, who has shown his intelligence as a returner, is at the 40.
And he knows the Bears won't be able to get down too quickly, so he's going to get himself a return.
Robbie Martin still on his feet and out of bounds. Great field position for the Lions at the 27, and so they know this, that with 8 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in the game, leading 16-7, that a touchdown now can just about salt the game away.
Even a field goal would be good to put the Bears on the ropes.
That's the story that Chicago faces.
Update Philadelphia, 13-10, Giants over the Eagles. Ron Jaworski from the shotgun wants Charlie Smith, but Terry Jackson steps in front, dashes in 32 yards for the score, and now the Giants lead the Eagles 20-10. Back to Chicago and Dick Stockton.
All right, Brent, but we don't look like we have an upset here. Giants may be upsetting the Eagles, but the story here, Lions 16, Bears 7. And John, the Lions would be very pleased just to get 3 points on this drive.
Yes, and that could make it a 19-7 lead. The Bears would have to score 2 touchdowns to beat them. Right now, the Bears could get a touchdown and a field goal and win the game. So this is an important drive for Detroit to come up with something.
Thompson and Scott, wide right. 1st and 10 at the 28 for Eric Hipple. And on a reverse play, here is Freddie Scott to the 25. Scott tackle, a first down for Scott, or is it not? Mike Singletary makes the tackle, and it is a first down, yes.
Well, they came back with their second reverse.
Banked into each other.
And had it not been for Mike Singletary, number 50, who goes in and gets caught up in the middle, he actually comes all the way over to make the saving tackle. But Scott does a good job of playing off his blocks there. Here comes Homer Elias, who really puts the crunch on Gary Fensick. But Mike Singletary makes the stop. But the Lions came up with a good play, innovative, twice this game.
At the 16, 1st and 10, Mark Nichols is the receiver to the left, Scott to the right, and it's Billy Sims looking for an opening, and he's still going inside the 10. Billy Sims, touchdown, penalty marker down, however, back at the line of scrimmage, and it's apparently against the Lions if you look at Billy Sims' face.
Well, that tells it all. A super effort by Sims, which was going to be nullified because of a penalty, probably on one of the offensive linemen there, right where he dipped back against the grain and broke the tackle by Gary Fensick, is where the penalty was called.
You heard about guys spiking the football when they get in with a touchdown. He could have eaten the football after he saw the flag.
Yeah, that's too bad. It was a good play. Great run.
Holding, number 61, offense.
Homer Elias was holding on the play, so that is a break for the Bears, who only score of the game, as you look at Elias, came on Todd Bell's first NFL interception, 92 yards, returned for a touchdown. The only score for the Bears today. Murray has kicked 3 field goals, and Hipple has gone in on a 6-yard run. The story of the scoring. 1st and 20 now at the 26. Horace King is the fullback. Pass outside. Leonard Thompson gets nowhere.
He sure tried, though, didn't he? Good effort by Leonard Thompson. He avoided a couple of tacklers, tried to get some extra yards, but the Bears kept coming 1, 2, 3, and finally got him down. But they made a nice gain, and they want to get close enough at least for the field goal attempt. Just a quick pass out there, and you're going to see him avoid 2 tacklers. First it was Henderson, then it was Otis Wilson, and finally there are just too many Indians there. Doug Plank comes planking in there.
Terry Schmidt was just standing there waiting for something. Never got in the play.
Look at this one. Tampa Bay 37-3 over Green Bay.
Rick Kane and Horace King are the backs now for the Lions, and it's Rick Kane off tackle inside the 20, and the Bears trying to strip the ball away. Al Harris in on the play as we have 6:25 remaining. Harris making the play on Kane. 16-7.
We're trying to get a report on Vince Evans' condition for you. We have not been able to get one from the sidelines yet, but as soon as we get it, we'll let you know.
So Rick Kane stays in the game, and Vince Thompson is in at fullback. Nickelback alignment for the Bears. Todd Bell is the 5th back. Hipple to throw. Lofts it in the end zone, overthrown. Ulysses Norris, the tight end, the intended receiver, and Fensick was covering. So it'll be 4th down, and the Lions, as Norris comes back into play. Keep in mind that David Hill has not played today because of a knee injury, coming off a superb effort against Dallas last week, but an important 3-pointer upcoming perhaps for the Lions. Murray has kicked 3, including a 49-yarder.
Well, he's been Mr. Automatic, and you know how kickers are. They get hot. When they get hot, everything just goes right. It's like your golf swing. And right now, he's in the groove.
33-yard attempt with Hipple holding for Murray. And the kick is up. It is no good. Off to the left.
I guess he wasn't in such a great groove.
He's out of the groove now.
Yes.
All right, so the Lions come up empty, which gives the Bears a flicker of hope with 5:41 remaining in the 4th quarter. Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, and then Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke star in Walt Disney's Academy Award-winning hit Mary Poppins, perhaps his best ever. It's all tonight on CBS. Vince Evans is back in the lineup for the Bears. Bob Avellini was 3 for 7 for 21 yards and could do no better than Vince, who is 4 for 18 for 21 yards. The first down story is this. Heavily in favor of the Lions. 1st and 10 at the 20. 5:41 to go. The Bears need points, and they need them soon. But another sack and a loose ball. It's anyone's ball. And it may be a safety, but no, they were down at the 1. They were down at the 1. Walter Payton recovered as Evans is hit again.
Evans gets up slow once again, too. He has really taken some punishment. It's ruled as a fumble, not a pass, a forward pass. And that you judge by his arm as to whether he went with forward motion on the arms. Here comes the pressure from Purifoy, and he was trying to put it away. And Purifoy hitting the ball, gets away. The Bears recover, but they're on their own 1-yard line.
And Johnny, Bob Avellini came running part of the way on the field, screeched to a halt, and then came back as Evans stays in. 2nd and 28 at the 2-yard line. That's where they mark it, the 2. Couple of yards. The crowd is not enthralled. Payton up the middle. Nothing to show for it. It'll be 3rd down.
3rd down, and I don't know how many yards. A long way to go. Obvious passing situation, and he's going to have to go back into the end zone. And so watch out, Vince Evans. The Lions are going to be coming hard.
Buffalo came back and beat New England 20-17. Big win for the Bills. 3rd down, 27, and pressure on Vince Evans. And Evans is going deep for Ricky Watts, and it's off the hand of Hunter. And Hunter almost was in line for still another interception. It's 4th down, and the crowd expresses its displeasure.
And the thing you have to wonder about is Stan White calls the defenses, and as I mentioned, he played for Ted Marchibroda at Baltimore, who is the Bears offensive coordinator, and he said he kind of knows what Ted Marchibroda likes to do. As you can see, they haven't done much, and you got to maybe give some credit to Stan White and Maxie Bond and the defense. They have really shut the Bears down.
Got to be the best defensive effort of the year as Parsons punting for the 11th time. Martin at the 45. Penalty marker down. Maybe a clip. We have 4:17 showing on the clock, 4th quarter. Lions lead it 16-7. We have not had any scoring in the 4th quarter. Pat Haggerty will tell us.
Illegal use of the hands in the middle of the back. Number 35 on the return.
Call is against Alvin Hall. Not clipping, but illegal use of the hands will set Detroit back.
You know, one thing I kind of admire is that Monty Clark, you know, they've run a couple of reverses, fake punts, and they've done these things all year. Ever since he's been here, he's done these things with these teams. And a lot of times, you find former offensive linemen are conservative. Offensive linemen normally don't make good head coaches. They're not imaginative enough. He is.
The American Red Cross has been there when neighbor needed neighbor for more than 100.
The preceding message was furnished by the National Football League. The Detroit Lions on their way to their first road victory of the year and their first sweep of the Bears since 1973. And that silver rush is quite symbolic of what the Lions have done today with 5 quarterback sacks. Now they'll just try to use up the clock. 4:17 to go. 1st and 10 on their own 48, leading 16-7. And here is Billy Sims into Bear territory at the 49. Gary Fensick makes the tackle. So the Bears headed for their 9th loss unless some miracle happens here, and the Bears have not been doing anything on offense today. And you can credit, as Johnny Morris has pointed out, Stan White's savvy, his knowledge of what Ted Marchibroda likes to do, his experience. We're in the bags here in Chicago with 3:45 remaining.
And just think, the Bears have to go to Dallas next Thursday.
Thanksgiving Day on CBS. But everyone likes to do well on Thanksgiving Day, so you never do know. As Billy Sims tries to cut back and gets back to the line of scrimmage, Osborne put the seal on him now as the clock continues to run. So Thanksgiving Day, a big day on CBS. You look at a couple of high school teams that have played now 99 years. Wellesley in Needham, Massachusetts. Charlie Waters, who has been playing hurt, talks about the hopes of the Dallas Cowboys in the NFL today, which precedes our game, as the Cowboys go against the Chicago Bears. You look at the time. 3 minutes to go now. The total yardage in this game is staggering. Sims outside. Billy Sims versus a first down. Sims inside the 30 and inside the 20-yard line. Billy Sims turning it on. And he has gone over the 100 mark for the 6th time this year.
Let's take a look at the replay. There's Russ Bollinger, number 73, out in front, throws a good block. And then Al Harris has plenty of speed for a defensive lineman. He was able to force Billy Sims to turn back and cut back in. That allowed the pursuit to make the tackle, but not before the Lions have just about put the clamps on the Chicago Bears. It was Otis Wilson with the tackle, but Sims now, did you say over 100?
118 yards, and as we said, the 6th time this year, 11th in his career. Total yardage in the game for the Lions, 339. For the Bears, just 28.
28 total yards. Oh.
2-minute warning here at Soldier Field in Chicago. The Bears literally have come up empty, and the game is not as close as that score indicates. We'll be back. Lost their sense of humor here in Chicago.
Help wanted, one coach, no experience necessary. That's beautiful. And look at this. A lot of people are going home in a hurry. Disgusted and despondent Chicago Bear fans. And look at this. New Orleans beat Houston 27-24.
And as a result, the Bears will probably have the worst record in the NFC at 3-9. And Cincinnati, they're for real, folks, 9-3 as they defeat Denver big. 1st and 10 at the 17 for the Lions. And Rick Kane looking for room. And finds room, and Rick Kane, look at that effort as he gets close to the goal line. Terry Schmidt pushed him out of bounds, but you won't see a better 2nd and 3rd effort than you saw from Rick Kane.
That was a super effort. Alan Page and Otis Wilson, both of them missed him here. You're going to see Kane now. He has to ad-lib a little bit. Vince Thompson throws a pretty good block. Now Otis Wilson goes down. Here comes Alan Page, 82, who thought he had him, and he just squirted away and took off down the sidelines, then dipped the shoulder into Terry Schmidt and almost got in there. Super effort. Rick Kane even reached the ball out in there. He smashed the pylons.
Otis Wilson is being helped off the field now, and that is the result of, or the reason for the whistle, with 1:51 showing on the clock. Wilson's played a good game in defeat for the Bears.
Yeah. Vince Thompson put the good block on him, and that's when he got hurt.
That Rick Kane has been quite a performer. He hasn't started that many games. Once in a while he will, but he gives 100%, and good short yardage guy and a good man to have around.
It looks like Otis Wilson is just more or less shaken up, but I never did answer that question for you. Besides Billy Sims, the former Heisman Trophy winners played for the Lions are Steve Owens, remember him, out of Oklahoma,
sure.
Howard Hopalong Cassidy, Leon Hart, you had that one, Doak Walker, and Frank Sinkwitz.
All right. Lion history there, and they're trying to get into the playoffs. Next Sunday on CBS Sports, a doubleheader, Green Bay at Minnesota. The Vikings going into this week's action 2 games ahead of Detroit, Green Bay, and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay won, the Lions will win. And the doubleheader game we'll tell you more about after this play again. Here's Kane, rolls off of one block and is in for the touchdown. Rick Kane putting salt on the wounds of the Chicago Bears with his 2nd touchdown rushing of the year.
And it was kind of a good thing that they gave the ball to Kane. He had made that super run to get down there and almost got the touchdown, and they gave him another try at it. He goes in for the touchdown, and turning out to be a really reliable and a good back to have as a backup for Billy Sims. Here goes Kane. There's Vince Thompson, 38, Russ Bollinger, 73. Even Leonard Thompson down there, 39, threw a good block. And Kane just bulled his way into the end zone. Henderson couldn't hold him out. The Lions have wrapped this one up.
And as you pointed out at the very top of the game, Billy Sims did not play in the Lions' rout of the Bears in October, but Kane did gain over 100 yards as Murray kicks the extra point. Murray has kicked 3 field goals today, including a 49-yarder. He has missed one, but the Lions and Coach Monty Clark will go into the books with their first road victory of the season. And we were telling you about next Sunday on CBS, Green Bay at Minnesota. The second game will be Atlanta and Houston. And you know the Oilers are going to be awfully hungry after being stung by the New Orleans Saints in an upset today. Houston 5-7, hurting their playoff chances. The Falcons at 5-6 have a game with Minnesota before They tangle with Houston in the second game of our doubleheader next week on CBS, and the NFL Today will kick it all off.
That should be good, especially if Atlanta wins tomorrow. That'll be a big game for them that weekend against Houston. The NFC, New Orleans won today, so that was one victory for the NFC over the AFC. What was the other matchup? There's one other matchup that went today, but anyway, the NFC, as far as I know, leads 18-17 over the AFC in interconference games with that one victory we know of today. As the Lions prepare to kick off, Eddie Murray finally missed a field goal, but he's still a hot one. He was 17 of 23 coming in, had 3 for 3 today until he missed that one late in the game as Emery Moorhead prepares to return the kick.
Emery Moorhead for the Bears. Comes up to the 12-yard line. You saw Moorhead return a kickoff in overtime, 56 yards against Kansas City. The Bears' 3 wins, 2 are over AFC clubs in overtime, and a game against Tampa Bay. You look at the drive.
And Bob Avellini is now back in at quarterback, so it's shuffling of quarterbacks for the Bears.
Evans, I think, got shaken up again, and they weren't going to take any chances with him. So 1st and 10 at the 32 now for Chicago. Avellini under pressure, dumps it off to Matt Suhey. And Suhey is out of bounds at the 31, but once again, tremendous pressure. William Gay and Doug English. I guess everyone in that front 4. Baker, of course, was thrown out of the game for roughing Evans in the 3rd quarter. Steve Furness was in there as well. And the Lions' defensive line keeps coming at you in waves.
They're letting Edgar Fields play. Number 63 is in there at a defensive end spot now.
He was brought in. Curtis Green, who was the 2nd draft choice for the Lions this year, had a chest injury, so they brought Fields in. In his 5th year, played with the Atlanta Falcons. So Fields in there, 2nd and 9. Avellini dumps it off to Walter Payton. It'll go as an incompleted pass as Furness picks the ball up.
Ray Oldham really put the clamps on Payton out there in the flat on a screen pass. And Payton gets up once again. He has really been taking some punishment on those short passes.
37 yards in 13 carries for Walter today in a game he just as soon forget for maybe this hit as well as anything.
The thing about when you're receiving a pass, it's so much more when you're a ball carrier and you've got the ball in your hand, you're trying to avoid tacklers. The most dangerous aspect is when you're a receiver going for the ball, you're worried about the ball. You have no way to protect yourself. You can't worry about what else is going to happen.
And we had a flag with 8 seconds showing on the clock, so it was not a delay penalty. We've had a lot of penalties today, both sides.
Ball starts, number 64, offense.
Ted Albrecht, the left tackle. So this is a very big win for the Lions because not only had they been a club that had not won on the road this year, they have been a team that would rise to the occasion against the good clubs and falter against the weaker teams.
Number 64.
And that wasn't the case today as Walter Payton goes to the sidelines, replaced by Willie McClendon, who did so well in the latter stages of the Kansas City game. 3rd and 14 at the 32. Avellini under pressure, gets away from one would-be tackler, and that's all. The Lions are having a field day, my friends. Steve Furness, William Gay, both combined in there.
And they couldn't get anybody open down the field, and the Bear offense is, I don't know if I have seen a professional football game in my life where an offense has been as bad as this one was today. And I'm not even going to describe the play. You see what happens.
And you've seen
great defense by the Lions.
7 sacks for the Lions today, coming in almost at will on the offensive line of the Bears. Avellini's throw is intercepted by Cobb at the 25, at the 20. And McClendon makes the hit inside the 20 near the 15-yard line. So Gary Cobb with an interception. Stan White with an interception. James Hunter with an interception today. It's been all Detroit Lions. The executive producer of NFL football is Terry O'Neill. Senior producer Charles H. Milton III. Today's game was produced by Jim Silman and directed by Andy Kindle. So the Lions, with 1st and 10, are probably just going to run out the clock.
Yes, and before they do, let me just take this one moment to wish you a happy birthday, Dick Stockton. You are what now? Today, 33 years old.
Thank you. I'll accept that. I just want to say one thing. It's been a pleasure to spend my birthday weekend and day here in Chicago with you and Andy Kindle and Jim Silman. We've had a good time working together, and we'll be in New Orleans next week. 1st and 10 at the 17, and thank you. Running out the clock in one of the most convincing defeats the Bears have suffered this year, although you couldn't tell by the scoreboard. 23-7 the final score, and it was worse than that.
No question about it. And as I have already said, talked about the Bear offense not doing very well, but we also have given a lot of credit to the Detroit defense. The offense scored some points, but it was the defense that was a key for Detroit in this game.
No question about it. The one bright moment for the Bears as Armstrong and the team leaves was Todd Bell's 92-yard interception touchdown. Other than that, Murray's field goals, Hipple's running the team, and a great defensive effort by the secondary, and most of all, the 7 sacks by the defensive line. The Detroit Lions are 6-6 on the year, very much in the playoff hunt, and their first win on the road this year. So this is Dick Stockton for Johnny Morris saying so long from Soldier Field. Once again, the final score, the Detroit Lions 23, the Chicago Bears 7. And right now, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
First time in 6 years, and the Giants have finally beaten the Eagles. How about all the scores and a few great highlights that have just broken on us? 23-7, the Lions over the Bears. Many of you, of course, watched that game. Tampa Bay a winner today, 37-3. So the Bucs, like the Lions now, are 6-6 and stuck in a wild card berth in the playoffs. Buffalo and New England, and you folks, you're not going to believe it. New England was ahead, all right? 6 seconds to go. Joe Ferguson pulls out. He wants Frank Lewis down there in the end zone. The Patriots are all over him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white jerseys go up. Ball is deflected. Roland Hooks has got it, and Buffalo pulls it out at the buzzer. 20-17. New Orleans and Bum Phillips, a successful homecoming. They down Houston 27-24 in that game. Cincinnati all over Denver, 38-21. Here's Kenny Anderson over the middle, not expecting Charles Alexander. Now, Pete Johnson had scored twice earlier, but this is Alexander busting the long one right here. He dashes on in for the touchdown, and it was a 38-21 final in that game. Pittsburgh coming back now in the second half of the season. They were over Cleveland today, 32-10. And, of course, the Giants finally beat the Eagles, 20-10. That gives the Cowboys a chance to move back in first because of this interception right here by Terry Jackson, who stepped in front of Charles Smith, 32 yards on the touchdown for the Giants. And, oh, were they jubilant about that. This town had turned into a jet town, right? All right, Kansas City over Seattle. 33-13. That game is not quite over. St. Louis now leading Baltimore 28-17. So the NFC could take a 19-17 lead on the AFC. For all of us at CBS, we hope you've enjoyed the NFL today. And don't forget, Thanksgiving afternoon, we'll kick it off at 3:30 with the NFL today. Then it is the Cowboys and the Bears. Have a nice week, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger.
You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.